All right, we live. All right, and thank you for making it for another episode of Poly Stories. Thank you for making it in. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Palole kai ngalotu. Ko hoku ingoa George Pahulu. Tamasi vuna Toyota mo whakalele Pahulu. Moko puna whae ko hingoa ai sele mo meleana whangapulotu wha. Moko puna tamai ko hingoa ai Palalawa Pahulu mo Alisi Tafamasiu. Just let everybody know, my name is George Pahulu. Born and raised out here in San Bruno. People on the streets, they call me Tongan Passion.
Okay.
With TP. So born and raised out here in San Bruno, where it all started at.
Let's go. All right, thank you. Hey, in the beginning I thought, oh God, we really gonna do this in Tongan?
Oh no, the main thing is like, for us elders, we always want to acknowledge the elders. Yeah, so that's why I be able to, I want to share it in Tongan, let them know where I'm from, who my parents are, who our grandparents are. Yeah. And I just want the youngsters to be able to know that as well, because you're somebody. and the old folks, they'll tell you stories about your dad or your grandfather that they know from back in the days. So it's always good to let the old folks know about that.
For sure. All right, so man, how did you grow up in San Bruno?
Growing up in San Bruno, man, it was a rough life. But I think the greatest thing about growing up over here is because we grew up with hella other Tongans. And with Tongans from back in the days, they when they migrated out here from Tonga, they went to the airport in San Bruno. This is where the airport is at. Yeah. So they all stuck right here and work at the airport. Yeah. And so my dad was one of those pioneers that came over here back in the '60s.
Like the first families that came here.
Along with a lot of the others. And we stayed over here in the avenues. So we grew up with only one of the only Mormons that grew up in the avenues with all the Wesleyan and the Katolika songs. The songs that from the different religions. So it was great. It was rough. So as a kid growing up, I had older brothers and sisters. So when we hang out with the other Tongans, our thing is we didn't grow up with speaking Tongan and everything. So we only knew the bad words. So the thing is some of us would come to us,
pick up the words.
they're they'll flick you in the ear, slap you behind the back, say, hey, lao, ko, hey, whoosh, that was our conversation, that's what I grew up. So you had to grow up with a thick skin. Over here in San Bruno, and the thing is, it's always left Tonga, we Tongan and we ain't no different, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was great growing up in San Bruno, man. I went to the high school, the local high school here in Cappuccino.
Cap. Okay.
Yeah. Cap, and but growing up in church, I'm Mormon. So the thing is that here we had the Millbury Ward. So this is 40-year anniversary of the first Tongan ward outside of Tonga, of having a Tongan bishopric. Okay. And and that's what I grew up on. So I grew up in the Mormon church over here in Millbury. So we were actually the first Tongan ward outside of the States.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was a big thing. Yeah. Here in Millbury. So. And growing up, I didn't grow up with my dad going to church. I always grew up with my mom because my dad had to deal with alcoholism, mental health, a lot of issues. Yeah. So a lot of my mentors growing up in the church were all the bishops. Yeah. Like Bishop Moamahi, Bishop Tonga, and all the bishops growing up, that helped me, become a better man and on the path. Yeah. Because church is always a foundation.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think was the toughest thing for you growing up?
The toughest thing was growing up is because everybody else spoke Tongan, and me and my siblings, we all feel Palani. Yeah. So we didn't really speak Tongan in our own household. Yeah. So everybody would tease on us, me and my siblings, because we couldn't learn Tongan. Yeah. And I can understand it, but I can't really speak it fluent like Harry had like a heavy conversation. Yeah. And so that was the thing that we had to deal with growing up, especially going to school with the other Tongans is how come you don't speak Tongan? But this is how our parents raised us. Yeah. My dad, he spoke really good English, and because he was a scholar back in Iohana, back in Tonga. Yeah. But my mom, she had the Fab accent and everything, and but the thing is that they just spoke English to us because they just knew that we'll be able to take advantage of it, if we move further down the line, especially with education and everything. Okay. So that was our main thing, So growing up, we grew up with sports. We were poor. Yeah. Growing up, me and my brother Herman, we always we were very athletic, you know, growing up, like, you know, with the other Tongan kids.
Okay.
The thing is, like, we were really excel in sports, but we didn't go to, like, you know, we didn't get to play Pop Warner, you know, like with the Pop Warner football before you go to high school, because we had enough money at that time.
Yeah.
So he played baseball, so his hustle was like the Palangi parents will pay for his fee because he was good in baseball.
Yeah.
I played baseball as well, as well as my older brother. But the thing is that we didn't get to play football until high school, you know, because you know, like in high school you can be able to play. You know what I mean? But we were very athletic. We were very involved with sports, and you know, we just loved those kids in the playground that grew up in San Bruno with all the other Tongans, and we just be a kid in the playground, you know, just having fun, you know, just having a good time, you know.
Yeah. Did you find it hard? I mean, I can only imagine coming from you guys came from Tongan, right? I mean, you grew up, your parents coming from Tongan, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you were born here.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard to adjust, to find the balance between Tongan culture and, you know, the American culture?
Yeah, because the thing is that, you know, my parents coming here as being first generation, they don't know what the American life is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And they have a hard time to adapt to it.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't know, like, you know, like me, I grew up, like, you know, playing baseball and as a kid, and even in high school playing football.
Yeah.
I was just used to my parents not coming to our games because my mom had to work 3 jobs. My dad had to deal with that, so we didn't have that support because they had to work. You know, they had to hustle. You know, you know, cost of living out here is real expensive.
Oh. Yeah.
So the thing is that they didn't know how to be that kind of support.
Yeah.
You know, and you know the OG Tongans is like, they don't say I love you. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't share their emotional feelings to you.
Yeah.
Their way of saying I love you is like they put food on the table.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, you know. You know, here's a male guy for you, you know.
I think Tongan is like just to understand. Look, I'm your mom and dad. It's family. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, you know.
Right.
And but we always had extended family. And that's what growing up in the church is, because it's like that's the foundation. You know, you help out. You know, you see other Tongan kids and you get to, you know, network with them and grow up with them as well. So it's not like we're alone. You know what I mean? But it's just the fact that we grew up in the avenues over here in San Bruno. So, you know, me and my siblings, we knew like the Wesleyana Tongans and the Katolika Tongans, you know, growing up. So we always had that family atmosphere all the time.
Okay.
So we had no issue, like, you know, with loneliness or anything like that.
Yeah, you never went through that.
And you know, like my parents, they worked, you know, they worked and they dealt with what they had to deal with. But we always had like extended family and friends that are always around.
Always around. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then. How was your parents, like, as far as upbringing, like, what was their style of parenting?
Okay, so my parents, man, you know, like, my parents are like the Tongan power couple in the Tongan community. Okay, they're like the Jay-Z, Beyonce.
Okay, Jay-Z.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, when they, you know, when the OGs, when you go to a Tongan function, they know, like, hey, how's your mom doing? Like, hey, how's your dad doing? And stuff like that. Yeah. And then they'll make you a plate for you. You know, hey, give your plate to your mom and dad. You know.
Yeah.
They show love like that.
Yeah.
Because my dad at the time, you know, he helped, you know, bring all his siblings to the States, you know, from Tonga. And same thing with my mom. My mom, like, you know, like they didn't meet together until they were in the States. But my mom was able to come in from Hawaii to Florida because there was a Palangi guy that, you know, like kind of like Kolipoki, you know, in Hawaii. So there was a Palangi guy named Uncle Howard. And he was able to help bring my family on my mom's side, which is the Fa family, out here to the States. So he was able to bring my mom to Florida, and my oldest siblings were like the first Tongans born in Florida, like back in the 60s. So they had their own path, you know, coming over here to the Bay Area. But like back in Tonga, my mom and dad like were really very special, because my dad grew up in, my dad's family, the Pahulu family, we grew up in Fasimoyafi, which is in Kolo, and at that time, my dad had a Pascala in Tonga, back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Nobody never had that shit back then, you know? They didn't have roads and all that, you know? Because my grandfather, Palalawa, he was like a wealthy man. He worked for corporate. Yeah. And so he was able to, you know, he was a very powerful man. So he was able to provide for his family and everything. He had a lot of worth. So my dad was growing up spoiled, you know? And then, you know, my mom, she grew up in the Queen's Palace back in the days. Yeah. So when she was a kid, she used to like stay in the palace with when Queen Salatu was alive. You know, she was the, you know, King Dupo III, you know, and Queen Salatu, when she was alive, so they had a name for her. Her name was Tapiri. That was her name, like in the Queen's Palace. Okay. You know, like my mom. So And my mom, she's one of those. She's like, she don't give a fuck, you know. So she's just able to, you know, do her thing in around the house, you know. Like, so she was kind of like the snitch for, you know, for Queen Salota. You know, when Queen Salota will be asking her, hey, go ahead and get, what's going on with the day over there, you know? Yeah. And then she'll snitch or whatever, you know, or she'll cover up, you know what I mean? But also growing up like with them, because the Tongan community here in the Bay Area, especially in San Bruno, they knew my parents. Like my parents were like their outlet. Okay. The thing, because you know, like even my dad, like, you know, helped a lot of the Tongan families over here, helped them get established at Pan Am, the airport. But it was like, you know, when they wanted to run away from their, you know, like their own family, they cut to my parents, because my parents didn't judge anybody, you know. Yeah. They were so, like growing up, we were very independent. Like as kids, and you know, like when you're Tongan, you're independent. Yeah. You know, people you abuse their privileges. Yeah. We didn't do that, you know. We just used to know how to survive on our own. Yeah. Because our parents weren't there all the time because they were working. Yeah. They just kind of were able to trust us. Like, so, you know, as a kid, I was doing floor, like at 7 years old, like carrying all my cousins, all the family floor to the Folly Floor and everything, you know, like in a shopping cart, you know. And like we hustled, like, you know, my brother Herman, like he worked at the airport. He hustled because back then we used to hustle the carts. When you return the carts, you get like 25 cents. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But what that nigga did, he went to go sell it to the Chinese for like $5, you know? the Asian tourists and shit. Yeah, he'll sell it to them for $5, you know? Me, I dumbass fucking just, you know, put it in and get a quarter, you know? So, but we had our own hustle, you know? Yeah. And you know, like we just did things a little bit different. That's all. Okay. So I know, so your parents weren't strict at all. They were independent. Were they strict, or was it they let you guys? Because you know a lot of Tongan parents are strict. Yeah. Most Tongan parents. They weren't strict, but the thing is, like, you know, if you do something stupid, they're gonna whip your ass. You know? So one time I remember, it was funny. Like my little brother, like he fell in the tub, you know, and when my mom started working, my dad stayed home. He was like a stay-at-home dad. Yeah. And you know, but he took care of my younger brother and sister. So one time, my brother fell in the tub and my dad whipped my ass. So you know, it was funny. I had to go to the hospital. I had to lie. Okay, I couldn't call CPS on that. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you go over there and like, so what really happened? Oh, I just slipped and fell. Even though my dad just lapped on me with a shower pole and shit. You know. But you know, those kind of things. Even my mom, like, you know, whipping my ass and stuff like that. It's just, you know, like later down the line, you know, when they get older, you appreciate that. Yeah. Because I still fear them, even though like I'm physically, you know, overpower them, but you know, instilling them with me, like when I was a kid, I was always scared of them, you know. Yeah. Which is why like I always had a really good relationship with my parents. Okay. Now I kind of want to talk about that right there. Yeah. Because I feel like, you know, that the purpose of the podcast is talking about the things that Polynesians we go through, right? So, you know, just talking to some people, you know, sometimes they feel like that you know, because you know, I grew up in Tonga too. You know, my parents, you know, my grandma, you know, she beat the hell out of me, bro. Yeah. and they have like the stick in there, you know, like at schools, you know, where they just put the ruler, the ruler. Yeah, the ruler. You know, I heard about that shit, man. Bro. But I don't know, because like, you know, I feel like you know, for me, you know, I went through that, but you know, it didn't, you know, I didn't turn out to be. I turned out okay. But sometimes I think maybe it's because the American Tongans growing up here. Yes. You know, they don't respond well to that. And a lot of times when, you know, their parents, they have that tough parenting. Yeah, that tough love. That tough love. Some of them, like, creates a distance between their kids, and the kids end up being distant from their parents. They don't want to talk to their parents no more. So it's just, what do you do? Like, I think with the younger generation, because is they're sensitive in a way, you know? You think it's because the American culture makes them sensitive? Yeah, it does, you know, because I grew up in, I mean, I went to, it's funny because sometimes I hear people say, talk about it. You got to go to Tonga and find that out, you know. Tonga is like third world. Yeah. You know, so it's like when you come over here, when the first time I went to Tonga, I was like, man, I just seen how the shit it was, like, and I came back home, I kissed my dad, like, man, thank you for fighting America, okay? Because I would not be able to survive out there in Tonga, you know, just like under these conditions and everything, you know. But the thing is, over here, you gotta take these kids to go to Tonga and see what the life is like, the lifestyle, because it's not easy. Yeah. You gotta go to the uta over there and, like, you know, and go get the manioke and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't be over here, you know, talking all this shit and then you can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? You just have to have a thick skin. Yeah. And that's why I grew up in San Bruno. When we grew up with a lot of other Tongans from different siasi, we were able to have a thick skin. You know. Yeah. And I think a lot of us were able to, you know, survive off of that. Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes like, we grew up in Tonga, right? But but for these kids that go out here, I mean, they didn't grow up in Tonga, right? So like, it's not like they don't know the hardships.
They don't know the hard life.
Do you feel like it's the parents' responsibility to adjust their parenting to how these kids don't know that life? And there's nothing you can do to show them.
Right? you can't tell the parents what to do because they're already here trying to make it at the same time.
I know.
You see them doing 3-4 jobs, doing vai and everything.
Yeah.
They're so busy doing that they don't have time to be a parent. Like when you get home, they're tired and shit.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I think like when you have like like uncles and like the cool uncles that be telling you some shit. You know what I mean? You gotta go to them and talk to the people that you feel comfortable with. And find out that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like what I always appreciate, especially with the fathers that come from Tonga and come over here and make a living, they work their ass off, know.
Yep.
And they work their ass off a lot more than the ones that are born and raised over here.
Yeah.
So that just shows you right there, hey, they've seen it, they've seen it themselves, and I appreciate what they do, like coming over here and taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. So, but then like for me, like I'm trying to figure out the solution. Like, what do you think is the solution? So, because if you keep doing the same things, it's not working.
Yeah.
So how do we get these American kids? How do we get these American kids who are sensitive to understand that what their parents are trying to do? And
you know what you gotta do? You gotta take them to Tonga. That's the thing.
Okay. What if they can't go to Tonga?
Huh?
What if they can't go to Tonga?
If they can't go to Tonga, you gotta be able to have somebody from Tonga, come over here. You know how like sometimes they always have the bands from Tonga, like like the Tamea, they come over here and fundraise and everything. Have them come over here and talk to them. And talk about it. But I think for them, they need to go to Tonga and to be able to see that because they'll definitely appreciate it a lot more.
Okay.
That's just kind of like my own solution because when I saw it myself when I went to Tonga for the first time, I come home and it's like I'm grateful, for all the things that I have. Motherfuckers don't have shit out there in Tonga, like I have to leave everything over there, and because that's Ofa'anape, you leave that over there because you want them to be able to appreciate it, because I could just, and here in the Bay Area, we can always get a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's the thing, we get a lot of things from tourists and everything, this is where all the money's at. So they just have to be able to go there and see that for themselves, or hear from somebody that been there to Tonga and came back and see, what they went through.
Okay. Well, let me the feedback I get from a lot of Tongan kids, right, is there's no dialogue with their parents. They said like 90% of the problems they'd be fixed if their parents just had a conversation with them. What do you think about that?
It's like I said, it's kind of tough because when you're straight from Tonga, they don't show emotions. They don't show like feelings and everything. They have to be comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like my parents, they're comfortable with me because I still value the culture.
Yeah.
One of the things I do, like I go to all the family functions.
Yeah.
Both my mom and my dad's sides.
Yeah.
My siblings never went to him, so they're always asking me questions.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, go to the function and you find out, from your uncles and aunties.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Is like, if you're gonna stay at home and all that, and then not go to any of the functions, family functions, that's when you learn a lot more from what your parents went through. Like. When I go to a function and I hear like stories about like what my dad did for that family and everything, and they tell me that that makes me like appreciate my dad a lot more. My dad don't have to say anything, but for the fact that somebody else told that story to me, it's just like, man, that's cool because he made an impact on their family. Yeah. And the same thing with my mom, made an impact on that typical person. It makes you appreciate it a lot more. Yeah. So the thing is that the parents, they have to be comfortable with you. And if you just keep nagging them and all that, aggravating them, it's just not gonna help them. They don't want to be opened up to you. And like I said, here in the Bay Area, they work in 3-4 jobs. Yeah. You gotta be open minded to be able to listen to the parents. Listen to them, talk to them. Yeah. Just do good things to them. Like for me, I remember when I was growing up as a kid, when I saw my mom work 2-3 jobs, the one thing I always want to do is I want to clean up the house for her, so that when she come home. That's a good place, to clean, and so you have to do those little things. You just can't be asking, and you don't do chores around the house or make a mad guy for your parents and stuff like that. They don't do that, Like here, just get like a KFC or whatever, for them, and it means a lot to them. Yeah. And that's what I do, like especially when they were older, I was able to have time to be able to see them and just dial up no one, just make a meal guy for them and all the good food that they like, and they'll fucking open up to you, man. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
And they'll tell you good stories, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, based on what I'm sure you have younger siblings, younger cousins,
yes.
nephews. So, what do you see like the most common things that they're going through as far as them growing up?
I think, you know, it's just growing up in a way where, like, you know, they have Palangi ways, you know?
Yeah.
The American ways.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, like, you know, compete with that, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and they have to do, you know, they enjoy what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, a point where they want to ask questions, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
You know, because in my family, like, we're very smart, you know, very educated. Mm-hmm. Like I said, out of my dad's kids, there's nine of us siblings out of my dad's kids. 7 out of 9 have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
That's
good. That's really good.
That's uncommon for for a Tongan family.
Yeah, you just do one out of the family.
We value education.
Yeah.
You know, but like sometimes when you have value education, we all smart. Somebody gotta be stupid in the family. Right? Me, I'm like the stupid one because like I just listen to them and it's just like, you know, because everybody wants to be right. You know, nobody wants to be wrong. But I think with the younger ones, I remember I had a conversation with my nephew like when I was in Arizona. He was just opening up to me his feelings and everything, you know, and it's good. We like to have those conversations. Yeah. I always had those conversations with my uncles growing up, my mom's brothers. Yeah. You know, it's just like just talk to them, just have those stories and just hear what they're talking about, you know, because I don't want to like interject what they're doing, but it's like it always feels good to hear those stories of what they went through. Okay. You know. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about you know, the church was a big part of your family, right?
Yes.
Okay. How was that growing up with the church? Was it difficult with the American culture and
No, because it was like we always implemented the Tongan culture with our church. Yeah. You know, ward was good. I think what was the main thing, what really stood out is because our bishop at the time, Bishop Mahi, he implemented like education. Mm-hmm. He started this thing called PAEA, which means Polynesian American Education Association. Okay. It was kind of like a little non-profit. Okay. At that time. So we would have student nights every, like, you know, at June, you know, like the end of the school year, and you know whoever had the best report card, they get like, you know, like let's say first place you get like $100, you know, second place got like 75, whatever, you know. So he was, and you know this is something new for Tongans because he's implementing education over here, especially in the Bay Area at the time, you know, back in the days, and they also joined in with a Samoan nonprofit back in San Francisco. They were called Samoa Mo Samoa, and that was kind of like their partnership, you know, helping out with our community at that time, and you know, and it was real good because in San Francisco you gotta survive, and you can't be just do yate for life, you know what I mean? Yeah. And all that. The thing is like education is really gonna help you move forward in life, especially here in the Bay Area. Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot. You know, for me, like when I came here from Tonga, right? I came here. I didn't come here just to do the same thing my parents did. Yes. I came here looking at a different opportunity. That's what I'm trying to do. What I'm doing right now, right? But I see a lot of kids that grow up here, and they're still doing yate. And I'm not knocking yate. Yeah. Right? I have nothing against that profession, but it doesn't make sense to me if you grow up here and get a citizenship here, and you still. You know, you don't progress to be better situated than your parents. Yeah. Why do you feel like that a lot of kids now that go up here keep that cycle?
Yeah, keep that because they don't want to break the cycle. You know, I think one is like the parents kind of push them. Yeah. You know, like they value that than education. Yeah. I know, like especially in our church, they value going on a mission than going to college. Yeah. I remember me and my brother, we had a conversation like because my dad, you know, worked at the airport, worked at Pan Am. Yeah. You know, so. We talked about it, it's like, you know what, we don't want to do what our dad did, you know. Yeah. So that's why we never worked at the airport. Yeah. And that's why we end up being engineers. Yeah. You know, so we want to do better than our parents.
Yeah. I mean that's
our main thing, you know. You know, like my dad, he's the type that he won't go to your wedding, but he'll go to your graduation, okay? He'll go to your college graduation. He didn't go to my brother's wedding, but he went to his graduation, you know. Yeah. You know, so he valued that. You know what I mean? And at that time, like when my brother Herman graduated, he got all these scholarships, these academic scholarships here at Cappuccino, here in San Bruno, and you know everybody talked about it. Mm-hmm. And like in the end, we're going to UC Davis. From there, on an engineering scholarship, on an academic scholarship. He didn't go on a football scholarship.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very proud of him for what he did. You know, and he graduated from there in 5 years. And you know, it's funny, the year he left, that's the year that your boy Billy, Coach V,
Coach V, yeah,
Coach V went over there. You know.
Oh, okay.
And that but they didn't get to see each other because he already graduated already, and V came in the year after. But it just shows you right there that, you know, my dad valued education.
Yeah.
You know, because he was a top scholar in Liahona.
Yeah.
You know, back in his days, and he was on he ended up getting a scholarship at BYU Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then he had a different plan. You know, just marry a Palangi and get the green card. You know, and bring the family down.
Hey, that's how you do it, man.
It's like, you gotta hustle, man.
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta hustle. You know, like, what you gotta do to bring your family down here. You know, and I think he felt that pressure, like, you know, from his dad, from my grandfather, to, hey, your job is to bring the family down here. You know.
Yeah. And
he was able to do that.
Okay. I wanna piggyback what you just said, and feel that pressure, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel any kind of pressure from? Because you know, Tongan families and parents, they have expectations. Yeah. You know, to church, there's so much pressures about everything you go through. So, did you experience any of that growing up? Any kind of
one of the pressures we had is like, especially for me, because I ended up because growing up in high school, you know, I went to seminary. I did all good. I was a good Mormon, you know, just did everything by the book. Because I got scared, like if I break the rule of reason, it's like I was going to be like persecuted or some shit like that, you know.
You're the good boy.
Yeah, I was a good boy. And so then, like, you know, after high school, you know, I didn't want to go on a mission. I wanted to go to college because I had to look at my living situation. You know, we're living in a 2-bedroom apartment with like 12 people. You know, I want to do something better to help my mom.
Was that tough making that decision? Because I know going to mission is big for our church.
It wasn't tough for me, but it was just the reaction that, you know, I got from our church or so, like the leaders. They expected me to go, because you have to look at it like, let's say if I did go, you know, so far I did everything perfect, and I went there, then come back, get married in the temple. So that means I never failed. I never went through any adversity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like I want to go, and that's the thing about life. You have to go through some adversity and you learn from your mistakes and then try to move forward. Yeah. You know, so if I lived that perfect, like I wouldn't be happy. Yeah. You know, because I never went through any trials and tribulations at that time. Yeah. You know, as a teenager, you know, growing up and doing everything by the book. I remember when I was a kid, you know, the bishop, our first bishop, he asked me, like, I think it was in Valiant A, like, you know, in primary and that. Asked me to recite the 13 Articles of Faith and, you know, in front of everybody, you know, like during sacrament. That was something new for everybody, you know, because I was able to memorize it and be able to do that, you know. So it was just like it was a lot of expectations for me to go on a mission, but I didn't choose that route. I ended up choosing going to college. That's my main thing, you know. Was that decision just all on you, or were you inspired by other people? It was all on me, and my parents supported me, you know, because they value education. Yeah. You know, and and that's what happened, you know. Like I ended up going to college. I ended up going to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. I was on an academic scholarship. Yeah. I didn't go there for football. I went there for school. You know?
You feel like do you feel like, because I feel like that's something that's big right now, because do you feel like a lot of Mormons, they feel pressure and then to go on a mission?
I think for the kids, you know, they have pressure to satisfy their parents. Yeah. But it's different now, you know, like. They are that saying is free agency. Yeah. It's your free agency to choose. You're an adult. You got to make your own decisions, you know? And whether your parents like it or not, they have to be able to support you somehow. Yeah. It's not just to like, you know, hey, satisfy, you know, like the church or the people or the church community, like, oh yeah, my son went on a mission. He was an AP, you know, like, you know, and stuff like that, and then come back and, you know, because that's the thing, because like I said, church is foundation. Yeah. The church is always going to be the foundation. And then from there, you go from church to like education or whatever's in life, you know, like that you want to further your career, you know. And then when you go through your trials and tribulations, you know, and then the church will always be there when you decide to come back to church. Yeah. That's the way, you know. The church ain't going away, you know what I mean? Yeah. You just got to be able to find your own path.
Yeah. Okay. That's possible. All right. So, I know we talked, and then you said that you had experience with your brother in high school.
Yeah. So after my junior year in high school, my brother, like his name's JJ, the older brother. So just like the life of the party. Yeah. So he got murdered out here in San Bruno.
Okay.
He got murdered by another Tongan.
Oh wow!
And it was really a big thing at that time because it's like they never seen like a funeral like that, you know, like especially getting murdered by another Tongan.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing. He was only 22 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just like it was very emotional, and like, you know, especially with my mom, like had to, like as a family, you know, we had to go through it.
Yeah.
Because he was the type, like when we stayed at the house, like he always told me, my brother Herman, is like, you know, I'm only fucking doing this shit until you guys, you know, like, you know, take care of mom, you know what I mean? And then I could do my own thing.
Yeah.
You know, so he was the type that, he was like the life of the party.
Yeah.
You know, always had a good time.
Yeah.
He had his boys.
Yeah.
You know, they just did their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
And he was kind of like the ringleader, you know, of all them, you know what I mean? Like, they had the little clique called TF, called Tongan Family.
Yeah.
And not no BGs, you know, it was just TF. So that was the little thing, the little clique, you know, with him and all his boys. And, you know, he was the only Mormon, but everybody else was like Catholic and Tongan.
Yeah.
So they always had a good time, and he was hella funny, man. You know, he could just like, you know, chop it up and just talk shit, and then, you know, at the same time, it's just like he's just hella funny, you know, like. So like, you know, I ran into some of his boys a couple weeks ago, you know, at a funeral, and it's just like, man, one of them just was chopping it up and like just reminded my brother, you know. Mm-hmm. So with him, it was sad, you know, like at that time, because it's like we had, you know, it was a very shock for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, he had a big funeral, and everybody came through, and you know, the whole San Bruno community, not only the San Bruno community, but it was also the big Tongan community. Mm-hmm. They're very shocked that this happened, you know. So, you know, like the things that I took away from it is just like I'm very careful where I go. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm very skeptic. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel something like, you know, it's not comfortable, I leave. You know. Yeah. So like I was, you know, and I always want to try to do the things that, you know, he wanted me to do. You know, provide for the family, take care of the family. You know, take care of mom and dad. Mm-hmm. So it was really a shock, like for him to be murdered. You know, like, and I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah. You know, like, and you know, the thing in Tongan is like the saying is like, you know, if you kill another Tongan, you know, you're gonna be, you know, God will take care of you at the end. You know, what goes around come around. Yeah. You know, so it's just something that you know, that person, like, you know, was taken care of, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just, we don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah. So like, I know that, you know, sometimes there's always funk with other Tongans in there, but you don't know what it's like, man. Especially when, you know, when, let's say, your own people get killed by another, you know, by your own people. Yeah. And that's a big no-no, especially in our community. You know, when we all look off and everything. You know what I mean? So I really took it real hard, man, at that time. But I always wanted to do the things that he wanted me to do. I never like tried to look for revenge of my brother's killer. I just never look at that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I always kind of carry spirit with me all the time. Yeah. And then the thing, it's funny because it's like everywhere I go, you know, like some of the older folks, they feel that spirit of my older brother with me, you know, because I'm just like him, and you know, he just did his own thing, man. He just liked to have fun, have a good time, and shit like that. But I think he was living fast life, you know, at that time before he passed away. Yeah. You know, and usually when you go through that, it's like there's a lot of jealous ass niggas out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, especially when you're the life of the party, like, you know, girls be feeling that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, their niggas be like, why can't you be like JJ, you know? This is this, you know what I'm saying? And all that, you know, make niggas look eat up in here, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just like, I go through the same shit too, like, you know, some of my ex-girlfriends or whatever, you know, the girls I used to fuck with and shit, it's like, why can't you be like TP, you know? And then niggas gotta hear it over and over again, it's like, what the fuck is this nigga, man, you know? You know, so it's just like, he was just that type of person, which is the life of the party, he just had a great time, you know, and like, you know, he had his own clique, that type of thing, you know, and he just had fun, you know. Yeah. They always had fun, and just he worked hard and everything, and but he always just I remember he just always told me and my brothers, like, hey, you know, I'm only doing this shit until you guys fucking graduate and, you know, from college and help out with mom and dad, you know. Yeah. And I was able to do that, you know what I mean. So he's always gonna be an inspiration to me, like till this day. One of the things I'm working on is I'm trying to work on a documentary about his life story. Oh, nice. And everything. So just trying to put everything together, put all the pieces of the puzzle, you know. Okay. But definitely it was a major impact in my life. Okay. Yeah, but I think I've even when I was in Tongan, you never see, even though Thomas fought,
but we never got to that point where we were like, we were.
Because it's always Aima, you know.
Yeah, like we understand. We're still Tongan. We're still brothers at the end of the day, even though we may disagree. But I guess like I think lately we just, and I don't know if you saw the news, but there's like more and more like Tongan to Tongan.
Tongan to Tongan. Yeah. But you don't see that here in the Bay Area because we just know how to get along. Yeah. You know, even if you're from different sets, you know what I mean? Did
you hear about that one? I don't know, it was a couple of years ago. They tried to burn the house down in San Mateo. Did you hear about that one? Did you hear about that one?
No.
Yeah, I think somebody beat somebody up, and then the guy went and started a fire.
Yeah.
To try to kill the person, but he wasn't there. Ended up burning the house, but the grandma passed away.
Oh man,
yeah, you didn't hear that in San Mateo?
No, because like I'm just so I don't know what's going on in the community because I'm not in the area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the thing is like, especially when you get older, you just move on.
Yeah.
I move on to bigger and better things. I don't worry about what's going on here, you know, unless I come back and find out what's going on. You know?
Okay.
And that's part of progression, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't want to go back to square one. That's just my thing.
No, I got you. All right. Yeah, I want to talk about the National Football Hall of Fame Foundation.
So like my senior year, I did real well in football, but also academically.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a big thing, and so I was able to get this National Football Hall of Fame Foundation. It was like Scholar Athlete of the Year, and for San Mateo County. Part of this is like for San Mateo County, they always choose a lineman and a running back.
Okay.
So I was the lineman, and the running back was Alberto Ibloto. He was my classmate.
Okay.
He went to San Mateo. He ended up going to University of Washington for a scholarship.
Oh, that's a good school.
Yeah. So at that, and part of this criteria for this is like you have to show like you have to do extracurricular activities. You have to have a 3.0 cumulative GPA throughout high school.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that it was just two Tongans representing the county.
Yeah.
And at that time when he rushed, he was like beast mode. Like back in high school.
Yeah.
Nobody couldn't fuck with him. And he was that year his our senior year he was the state leading rusher. Touchdowns.
Okay.
So he broke the record. But for us to be able to represent that and represent the county, it was a big accomplishment. I remember my principal told me like personally, "Hey, I got you this award." And then he made an announcement all over the high school at my high school, like everybody knew about it. It's like, damn man, I don't want to fucking everybody know about it, but it was something good to represent the school and also represent our Tongan community,
Yeah.
And for us to be able to represent that, for our county, it was a big major accomplishment because you don't see that with Tongan, especially with football.
Yeah.
But for
especially
me,
at that time.
At that time,
Yeah.
And for me, Albert, to be able to do that, it was kind of like very trend-setting, So that's something that we always linked about, we linked about together. You know what I mean? He ended up playing rugby, so he played for the USA team.
Okay.
And then he represented the USA for the Rugby World Cup in 2007.
Oh.
So I think they played Tonga at that time, But he was part of that. He was part of that USA team. He played for USA Eagles, So. He made a career out of it, and right now, like Bet, he's doing he's actually a cop over here in San Mateo County.
Okay.
They always get the cops over here because they want the Tongan cops to ease the workload from the Palangans, like when the Tongans get in trouble, and all that. And he's still fit. He still stays in shape, So
yeah.
I'm always proud of what we've accomplished at that time, So it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah. I can only imagine because, now you see, again, at that time, we be the first ones.
To be the first ones to do that, and not only that, we had good grades.
Yeah.
So check this out. This is my responsibility in high school, my senior year. So I was a senior class vice president. Okay, I was a captain of the varsity football team. I also played wrestling as well. I was a heavyweight, and then also played track and field. Shot with the discus. And then also I was part of the math meet. Like they have math meets.
Yeah.
Because I was very good at math.
Yeah.
And then I was the president of the Polynesian club. So one of the things I did for a fundraiser for Polynesia, I was selling otai to the Palangans, and shit, and a fundraiser for the club,
Yeah.
And we did that, So I had a lot of responsibilities on my own, and then I think I was the first Tongan athlete at Cappuccino to get a blanket. Part of getting a blanket for Cappuccino was you got to play like 3 sports, all 4 years.
Yeah.
You accumulate a certain amount of points, and then you get this big cappuccino blanket, and it's like, it says your name and everything, So I was the first Tongan to have that.
Okay.
So it's I had a lot of responsibilities at that time, So, but I'm proud of it,
Yeah. I'm just listening so far of all your accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, if I saw those accomplishments on a piece of paper and there was no face behind it, I wouldn't even think you were Tongan.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're Tongan is really, really impressive. Like, but why do you think that not a lot of Tongans now going that route?
Because, like I said, church foundation.
Yeah.
They want to be stuck with the foundation at church. Yeah. Just stay at hey, go on a mission, get married in the temple. That's your accomplishment.
Yeah.
No, it's not education.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's like, I remember growing up, I went to seminary every morning.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go. I didn't get picked up or anything. I walked to church. Okay. I walked to church, and then it was good because of the church. It was next to the school, nearby the school, and then I walked from church to school. Then some of my classmates, they went to seminary, and then they cut class. That same day. It's like, hey, how you gonna do that?
Yeah.
It's just to satisfy the parents. What I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just a curious kid. My thing. And I always looked at because I didn't just want to be, stuck with all the Tongans. I also want to be friends with the Palangis and the Asians and all that because, the Palangis can always help you get a job, okay? Yeah. The Tongans ain't gonna fucking help you get a job, you know what I mean? And all that. If you're good friends with, and Palangis is just like one of those, hey, if you have friends, if you're friends with a Palangi, they will help you out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with a lot of Palangis in San Bruno, they love the Tongans because we just mata ofa them, to them. And they like to hang out with us and everything, and just keep 100. You know what I mean?
And also, it's you learn how to talk to other people.
Yes.
Besides your own race.
Besides your own race, and you have to be able to do that, especially
the dialogue. To know how to talk, especially in a professional environment.
In a professional environment, especially when you go for a job interview and everything, you have to be able to learn those things. You don't learn that in our Tongan culture. All it is just yate and church or whatever, and just try to keep the family business.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to learn, from other cultures to be able to
adapt
further. Go further and adapt.
And I think, like you said, life is about adversity. That's what you said.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if the more you learn, the more you'll be able to overcome adversity a little bit more. But if you just know one thing, and you go to the world.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What's bad because this is what I did. I remember one of the leaders from the state presidency asked me, hey, what can we do? Because he knew I was working at PG&E.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what can we do to get these, some of our youth to go to PG&E, work over there? I said, first, they got to volunteer.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, church is kind of like a non-profit community,
Yeah.
You got to volunteer for other things. Like in San Francisco, I volunteered to do other projects, how they have big conventions and all that, and Moscone and everything. I volunteer for those because not only do that, it's just networking.
Yeah.
You network and then you learn something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Learn what I learned in college, and then I bring it to the table to them, and I can be able to adapt to it. You know, and just network and know that hey, if I do a good job, man, they might hook me up with a job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just word of mouth, not just by the resume. You know what I'm saying? But just seeing you in person and seeing you in action as well.
Okay. All right. I know you did mention that you were curious. Are you curious?
Yes.
Where did you develop that curiosity? Where did that come from?
Well, because it's I was always open-minded,
Yeah.
Curious. I like to do things, one of the things I always like to do is
You think it was because you were independent? Your parents just let you be free and then
it's just being free because my parents were never restricted.
Yeah.
I always take the buses everywhere, like the Sam Trans, that's the local bus here in San Mateo County. I took the buses everywhere, Yeah. And the thing with San Bruno was just a lot of us Tongans, we never go to the city like Frisco.
Yeah.
We just stick within our own.
Yeah.
And so I was able to navigate and do other things.
Mm-hmm.
And just like George, the old story, Curious George, always curious, always want to know what's going on and just be fi'ilo and everything, Not just be hella nosy,
no,
just
you want to find out what's more to life out there.
What's more to life out there besides what you have.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially in my living conditions where I grew up. I lived in people's garages.
Yeah.
So I just want to be able to do what I can to, be curious and be open-minded so I can be able to later down the line provide for my family, to take care of my parents, stuff like that, just be able to not put all the burden on them. You know what I mean? So that's where that curiosity came from,
Okay. So did you grow up? So when you grew up in high school, did you grow up hanging around mostly Tonga, or you just hang out with everybody?
I hang out with everybody, my teammates from football, and then it's we play against other Tongans from different areas, schools like Aragon and Burlingame, You know, they had Tongans over there. We know them, but like when it comes to battle, it's just a whole different game. You know what I mean? But like and then I hang out with a nerd because I was a nerd.
Yeah.
You know, like fuck, my senior year in high school, I took like 5 AP classes. Yeah. You know, so I was able to like to do college level courses and everything, and just be able to like further myself and advance myself and to the next level, for college. So that was my main thing, because I just want to be. And two is also a challenge. Yeah. I want to challenge myself to be better. Yeah. Like if I could be smarter than that. Yeah. Like my hustle in high school was algebra. I used to like teach all the preppy students, popular students, algebra. I teach them, and then all I ask them in return is like, hey, give me $5, and then give me some Taco Bell. We good, man. You know what I mean? And they always saw that, because I was kind of like a fiaco, like a teacher. I could teach them things like in their level, like of how to get things done. You know what I mean?
Did you ever get Did you ever get like criticism from your Tongan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the crabs and barrel. It's the same thing. It's like it applies with our Tongan community. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I go like he think he's smarter than us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that. It's just the fact that I want to better myself.
Yeah.
Fuck, I live in a fucking I'm sleeping on the floor and shit. You know what I mean? 12 people in our house, in our apartment. I'm trying to better our living situation. Better our life. Because I went through some shit. You know what I mean? And so I mean, at that time, when you're young, you don't know. You know what I mean?
Did it affect you?
It affected me. It affected me because, first you just deal with, go fia palangi pe, this and this, and then it's like, but at the same time, it's like, I don't have to explain myself to you.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You know what I mean?
And you want to fit in. You're young. You want.
I'm just trying to also keep myself grounded as well. Like, hey, I haven't forgotten my Tongan culture. I haven't forgot where I'm from. You know what I mean? And but it's just like you feel like you're a little bit trapped. Yeah. And all that. But I seen what my brother did. My brother, he went on a scholarship to UC Davis. Was like, hey, there's a way out. He look what he did. I could do the same thing as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like for me, it's just seeing my younger nieces and nephews. Yeah. I always tell them, look, I mean, you should hang around more different types of people. Yeah. Don't just stick to hanging around with Tongans. Because it's not about we're bad people. It's just you're gonna be limited. Yeah. You're gonna be limited by your environment. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, and of course, I know how people are. If you try anybody to try something new, they're not allowed.
They're gonna be like, oh no, he trying to be better than us.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just like you're just trying to better your situation. Yeah. And if you like real homies and all that, you want to support them. I know. That's the main thing. It's like. Because your situation's fucked up, don't mean like you gotta fuck up his situation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all that though. It's just like, hey, if really about that life, you really wanna support him all the way, Yeah. And I have a lot of people that supported me, like my homies, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like what I did is like, man, look at Herman and George, man, look at them, man, they're going to college, man, I got to know them and everything. And they grew up in a fucking Tongan community. Yeah. So it's a big thing for them, especially to see that we went to a local school, to be able to do that around our Tongan community. And we're proud to this day for what we did. Yeah. Like I said, like we both got engineering degrees, and he's doing it. My brother's doing his thing, but he hasn't forgot where he came from, and all that. Though, like he still hangs out with some of the Tongans that we grew up. So they have that respect for him, and they have the same respect for me as well. Yeah.
So like I said, that's powerful, man. Cause like I feel like the more we have more time and more powers, we can go out there and do what they do, man. Be able to inspire more people, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like it's hard work, But it's like you can talk about it, but like if you put your mind into action, that's the main thing, It's just chipping it away, it's just little by little, you know what I mean? You're gonna go through some steps and all, But
all right, so so you graduated high school. I want to talk about, I know. Being Mormon, they wanted to do separate mission, but you decided to go to Cal Poly. Yeah. So can you talk about that experience of deciding not to serve a mission? Because I feel like there's a lot of Mormons that watch this, and they go through the same things.
Yeah. My main thing, because my parents, they supported education. Mm-hmm. They always value education, my mom and dad. So, it was my decision. Mm-hmm. They allowed me to make my own decision. Like when you're 18, you make your own decisions. Mm-hmm. So they didn't really pressure me to go on a mission. After I graduated, I went to Arizona for a summer and just worked, just yacht and all that. Mm-hmm. And then I came back, and then it was time for me to go to school. But when I went to Cal Poly, it was just funny because I had a dorm, I had a room, I had a bed.
Yeah.
And I never had a bed before, you know. I'm used to sleeping on the floor and shit.
I remember when I went to college first time.
Yeah. You know, you get a dorm and you know you have a roommate and everything. I have an Asian roommate and shit.
Cafeteria.
So like, yeah. And then the cafeteria is like all you can eat.
Okay, exactly.
Oh man, I gained like 30 pounds after 2 months, you know, because I'm not used to this shit. You know what I mean? And all that. So it was just and it was a different experience for me because it's like I'm on my own at 18.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm here with other people that, you know, at that time they were like burning like, you know, we're hacking.
Yeah.
You know, engineers are hackers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the engineering hall and everything, and everybody thought like, hey man, you play football? I was like, no, I'm actually smart, okay? I actually got here on the academic side, and then like to verify that to them, you know. Like, oh my bad, you know. So I was able to get in with the football team and, you know, go to like the parties and shit like that as a freshman. But it was great, man. It was great to be able to do that, but it was just something new for me because I've never been out of my environment, especially my own Tongan community. Yeah. To go from there to like fucking Cal Poly, it's like an engineering thing, you know. It's just like
mind blowing, huh?
It's mind blowing. You just see all the facilities and everything. It's just like you just open your eyes a little bit more, you know. So after that 1 year. Because I was doing too much, you know. I was trying to do like, you know, the poly stuff over there, and I always loved playing basketball because I was a hooper, you know, growing up. You know, I hoop with the Odi-Odis. Yeah. You know, when you hoop with the Tongans, it's like jungle ball. It's very physical. But you know, when the Odi-Odis, you gotta play with a little bit more finesse. But like, you know, I did that. I didn't really pay attention to the schoolwork, you know, so I ended up getting kicked out from there, you know. Yeah. And then I ended up playing like, I didn't want to come home because I felt ashamed. Yeah. So I ended up staying over there to a community college nearby there called Allen Hancock College. I ended up playing football there. That's why I learned how to play real football because I played with 10 brothers from Florida, 10 Uli-Uli from Florida, and then I had 10 Samoans from Hawaii and Samoa. Yeah. So the coach over there was kind of like he was implementing bringing these Samoans from Hawaii and Samoa because they don't want to bring the ones from LA because they gang bang. Yeah, yeah. And that and I was the only Tongan over there. So, you know, it was good. We had that great vibe and everything, but, you know, when it came to football, it was business. Yeah. So, like, you know, I'm trying to start. So some of these times, someone wants to get ita, you know? Just like, hey, why you do that for? It's like, I said, nah, nigga, you know, I'm trying to start, you know? Because I was playing center, but I wanted to start. Yeah. You know, in your first year, you're trying to put your foot down, you know? Yeah. And I'm football, man. I love football and everything. So, but I value that experience that I had over there, you know? And then, you know, coming back, I ended up coming back after that because then I tried to do a mission, but it was too late. So I ended up taking a year off of school, and I just worked. Yeah. Before I forced myself to get back, it's like, man, I need to finish up my degree. Okay. And then I ended up going to Foothill College here in nearby Palo Alto. Oh yeah, Foothill, yeah. Yeah, Foothill. I didn't want to go to CSM because it was like little Tonga over there. Yeah. I don't want to be around hella Tonga. You know? Yeah. You know, because when I'm focused in school, I just want to be focused. Yeah. I don't want to be distracted. You're distracted, yeah. And I don't want to live high school glory days. You know? It's just like, I just go here. You left it behind. Yeah, do that thing, and then I transferred from Foothill to San Francisco State, and that's where I finished on my degree. Okay. Oh, wow. All right, so you graduated SF State. Can we talk about your football coach mentor? Yeah, so in high school, my lineman coach, we call him Coach Watson, so he graduated from Harvard. Mm-hmm. So he took me in like... Wow, that's Harvard's good, man. Yeah, very smart guy, you know. So he took me in at a young age and be able to... so I was able to work for him for 15 years doing construction. Yeah. But I was just a little guy, so I used to work on the summers for him. So when I was in Arizona, I told you I was in Arizona like after my senior year. I was also there my junior year as well. We had a couple projects over there, his construction projects over there. So he put me up on game because he's the CEO for his own company. Yeah. So by working with him, I was able to learn a lot about business, learning how to project manage. The thing is how, especially like he took me to meetings, you know, to like he didn't have to do that, you know. So I was like one of his mentors, you know, like his one little kotas, you know, just a mentor, you know, and everything. Yeah. And be able to understand how Palangis think, how Palangis do business, how they talk to their contractors and everything. Yeah. So I was able to soak that in, you know, like getting that kind of work experience, you know, be able to work for Palangis and be able to understand how to talk to Palangis, you know, in their language, not in the Tongan language, you know, like you can't be talking street to Palangis, you know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? Yeah, so like to be able to be able to understand how they do business and everything, and I was able to learn it and soak that in. I didn't give a shit what he was paying me, you know. It was just taking that experience. And that's what people need to understand. Like, hey, you have to get that kind of experience. Of course, hey, when we grow up, we'll do yachting with our parents. But when you work with other people, especially like you want to further your career, you got to be able to work with Palangis or whatever they're successful in. And for him he didn't have to do that for me. You know, so, but he, you know, I was able to, you know, he put in the good words, like, hey, I'm going to have my youngin over here, you know, come work with you guys for the project. And I just have him do whatever needs to be done. And that's what I did. You know, I'm very, you know, obedient. You know, I'm not going to, like, talk back to my boss at the job. And, no, you know, like, my coach just said, like, I can do this and this, you know. I want to make sure he looks good because, you know, he didn't have to do that for me. You know, so able to work with them for 10, 15 years. One of the projects that we did, like, in Arizona, we were the first company to build condos in Arizona. You know, we were able to build condos in Emeryville, the first condos back in the days. And we did a project over here in San Bruno, right by the church, you know, the culture hall, those apartments / condos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was our project over there too. So I was able to do a lot of the projects at that time, and he was a visionary. He was way ahead of his time. And for me, be able to see that and see his work ethic and also establish a great relationship with his family. Because they had a nice mansion in Hillsborough. You know, so he always had me come over there. The wife always had me come over and do some maintenance around the house or whatever, cleaning up, and they pay me. You know, but just to be able to see that. And I was able to see that, especially with my mom, you know. My mom was able to see that as well because she was able to influence, you know, like her job, you know, her boss, you know, because she took care of 2 kids. And as a result, you know, like the boss, you know, bought her a house here in San Bruno.
Oh, man.
You know, and it's in cash, straight cash at that time, you know. So we were able to live there for like 11 years over here in San Bruno on Hensley. So, you know, I mean, you just see the blessings that you get, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you work hard and just be humble about it, and, you know, not looking for a quick, you know,
quick dollar.
For the quick buck. You just always look at the long, you always got to play the long game.
Yeah, long game,
And so. And I still have a relationship with my boss too as well, you know, like to this day. And I know he learned a lot from me because, you know, I brought a lot of that Tongan culture, that family values that he was able to see with me, you know, just by example, by my work ethic, you know. I work hard just like my mom, you know. So I'm grateful for what he done for me, and I'm able to do that for, you know, for some of the kids, especially the Tongans, especially with football, because what he did to me, I just want to keep doing that to inspire these little young Tongan kids, you know what I'm saying, with football.
Okay. What was like the biggest lesson that you took away from that experience?
I think with my coach was just getting things done, you know. Meet a deadline. You know, you go Tongan time, you can't be doing Tongan time when it comes to Palangi, because it costs money. You know, so like you got to get shit done. So I remember one of the projects we had in Emeryville, and we were almost done with the project. But my project manager and my superintendent. So the thing is, like, in construction, you always have like a superintendent, which is out there on the field, and then he oversees all the subcontractors, like the electrician, the sheetrock guy, the painter. He's overseeing that. You have the project manager that's in the office, and they always like have like the project engineer and then the project assistant, like the secretary. They're doing all the paperwork. You know, doing all the paperwork. You know, superintendent and project manager always converse, you know, like, hey, what's going on in the field? How do I bill this? How to do invoices? You know, so I was able to see all that, and I was able to file those documents and everything. So I remember one time we did a project in Emeryville. Before the job was done, the project manager and the project superintendent, they left to another company.
Oh, wow.
And this job still needs to be done. It was like 2 months before deadline. So they put all the responsibility on me. So I was like, shit, how the fuck do I do this? You know, I don't have the experience, especially with subcontractors. They look like, who the fuck is this Tony guy over here? You know, like, how is he gonna get shit done? But I was out there on the field. I was able to learn. I was the president of construction at the time. He was from Arizona, but he kind of guided me. You know, it's like, hey, get this thing done, get it done. He was all about getting it done. You know, don't care how much it costs, just get it done. And as a result, I was able to, you know, learn all the. I was learning under pressure. And then we were able to meet our deadline, you know, like meet our deadline, like, hey, you know, because, you know, you got like, you know, finances and everything, you know, you got investors into your project.
Yeah.
You need to meet your deadlines.
Yeah.
So I was able to learn from that, you know, especially when putting me under pressure, because, you know, my superintendent and my project manager was left the company, and I had to fulfill their responsibilities. And I didn't know at the time, you know, I just graduated from college, you know what I mean? But it was a learning experience, you know, because you have to learn under pressure, you have to meet deadlines, and you have to be able to converse with these subcontractors and just get it done.
Yeah.
You just can't kiss ass, you know. So like, hey, how do I do this? How to get this? And you just have to be affirmative with them, you know.
Yeah.
They have to respect you, so you have to be out there on the field. That's the only way they respect you. Is like, you're not in the office, you have to be out there in the field. Hey, what's going on? Can we get this thing done? You know, or does it need to be an extension? You know, shit like that. And then like the contractor will, okay. And then I have my meetings with with our president of construction. Like, hey, contractor said this. Like, no, just get it done, all right? So I would just have to be able to, you know, make those decisions. You know. And there was a lot of decisions on me, you know. But I was able to learn from that, to be able to learn under pressure and be able to perform under pressure and do things that I know I'm not fucking qualified for. Yeah. But learn, you know, learn as you grow.
You only know until you try it, right?
Yeah, you don't learn until you try it. You know? So I was able to get that respect and be able to get that experience, you know, like by learning through that, you know, what my boss put me into, you know. And I'm grateful for that. Yeah. Because I can be able to like, hey, you know, later down the line, oh, I went through that shit, the same shit before, you know. Yeah. So I can deal with it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's something I always tell my boys. Like, you know, when you don't know when opportunity is gonna strike. Yes. Like, you gotta be ready. Yeah. And sometimes at times you're working and you know you don't see it, the needle moving the way you want to be. But then that's the great thing about life is anything can happen.
Yeah, because and when that happened, it was funny. I had to stay extra hours at work, you know, because I had to be able to figure this shit out. Yeah. And put in extra work. Yeah. You know, but and that's my thing is like I just don't want to disappoint my president, you know, my boss. So I was able to fit in, and we were able to meet our deadlines and you know keep our investors happy. Yeah. You know, and complete the project. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that, you know. Yeah.
I feel like all the things you went into your life were preparing you.
Preparing,
all the values, your parent, the foundation that you grew up, and it just kind of prepared you for that moment. Because you didn't have that foundation.
Yeah, if I didn't have that foundation, like you know, like what I did in high school, like be able to write, you know, be able to like do math and be able to budget,
be open,
and be able to be open to it, you know, because it prepares you, like especially not with just polys, but like you gotta go in the corporate world, you know, and the palagi world, you know, and that's what I always value. Like I always like to do work in private, you know, like the private side of the business, you know what I mean? Because it's just like for me, it's just, you know, like. You're on a whole different echelon, you know what I mean? You can't do the same with, you know, some other niggas that's in the union, you know what I'm saying? You know, because that's the C average kids. You know, I'm an A+ student, you know what I mean? So you gotta stick with that level, you know, of work, and that's how I like to do my work, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And plus, you know, I'm not talking about the union, but union. Sometimes when I see people in union, they're just looking for like they give things given to them.
It wants to be given to them, and then at the same time, like, hey,
it's like safety. They want that safe, but.
And then when it's time to clock out, they want to clock out.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, like, you know, sometimes our work needs to be done, and you have to do overtime to it. And like, I'm like the type. All right, I just want to get it done. Yeah. I just want to accomplish this.
And you want to work with people with that mindset. Yeah. You don't work with people like. As my time's over, I can't work.
Well, I'm trapping, man. You know, I'm trapping at work. You know, it's like, hey, if it needs to get done, I gotta get it done.
Yeah. Okay, nice. All right. I think you talked about that. Your boss bought your mom a house in 2000, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about how did your mom feel when that happened?
It was a beautiful thing because at that time I was supposed to go back to college because I took a year off of school. Because we were still in Millbury, living in a 2-bedroom. And that's like, hey, let me go back and finish up at Hancock, you know, finish up my football and finish up my school over there. But when she bought that, she needed help, you know. She wanted me to stay back. I have the space now, you know. We got it was a 2-story garage, and we had like a 3-bedroom upstairs, and then we also had a sublet, you know, downstairs as well, you know, to the part where my aunt was staying at. But it was grateful because it was at the same time my mom needed help, you know. She needed that help to be able to have that support, and I was able to support her as well. I just knew that I was able to have a space to be able to do my thing, you know. I can go back, I can continue to do my work and at the same time provide for my family. And I can just do my school over here because now I got a place to stay. But it was a blessing for my mom, you know, and for all her hard work. Man, I appreciate that. Yeah. You know, like, cause her boss didn't have to do that for her, but she took care of her, the boss's kids, you know, from growing up and seeing how they are and, you know, how mataofa they are because of the example that my mom, you know, showed them, you know. Yeah. She'd be able to show them to the palangis and you see how it is with, especially with the, you know, with the Tongans, when they do the vai-vai, you know, when you go to a Tongan function, you see the vai-vai at the function. Yeah. It brings life to them, you know, of how we do things. Yeah. It brings a lot of life, you know, and for the boss to be able to do that for my mom, it was very humbling, you know, and we appreciate it for what she has done for my family, how it made such an impact. So she was able to, you know, like, bring her friends and family to come to the house, have that, you know, like, have that experience, like, hey, come to the house, you know, this and all that, and it was just like family, you know, all over again. But, you know, her hard work paid off, and, you know, she was faithful to paying and tithing and everything. She just knew the blessings, you know, that she got out of it, you know what I mean? And, you know, so I'm grateful for what she has said example for, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, we talk about your trip to Tonga for the coronation ball?
Yeah, so, in a way, that was my first time going to Tonga.
Oh, that's your first time? Oh,
first time going to Tonga. Okay. And I went there for the coronation ball, and that's for Shasi Nima. And for that coronation, it was just it was a big thing at that time. And it was something that for me to look forward to. So I'm named after my uncle Shasi Blake, and he's like a chief of police over there in Tonga. So he stays in Fasi, so I wanted to be able to, you know, spend time with him. Because I know I always have a place to stay in Tonga, I'll always stay with him in Fasi. But for me to be able to experience that was just one of my things I look forward to, and be able to go there with my mom to see how Tonga is. And so I went to the coronation ball for Shasi Nima, and so they had it at the villa, you know, the villa. Yep. Yeah, so the villa is like, you know, the king's estate. So it was big, man. It was just like, it was something like, cause like for that attire you gotta wear like a you know, tuxedo. The men have to wear tuxedo. The women have to wear tiaras and ball gowns. You know, because they were very fancy. You know, like in Shasi Nima, he's very selective. You know, and for me to experience that, you know, to go to the villa and just have a great time and see how we're popping bottles over there and everything, and it was just like I'm seeing all these Tongan bitches from left and right from like different areas like Australia and New Zealand and everything. It's like, damn. And they love me because, you know, I got the fucking accent, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking hood, I'm talking American accent and shit, you know? So it's just like, for me, it was an eye-opener for me. It was one of my greatest moments of my life, you know, like to be able to see that and be able to, you know, I was able to take a picture with the king. Oh. I have a picture with the king, and my mom took a picture because my mom wanted me to introduce me to the king, you know? And, you know, in the Tongan way, it's disrespectful to take a picture with the king. Only the tourists will do that, you know, the palangis and that. But she was able to do it, and I was able to catch a photo with him. And just to see my mom happy because it's home to her. She knows how to navigate in Tonga, you know, and that is the experience that, you know, I really took, like, you know, to look something to look forward to because it's home for us and to be able to appreciate what we do. So that's what I was grateful for, like, you know, going to there and to be able to meet family that haven't been met before and just see the lifestyle in Tonga, which is a lot different than from over here. Like, you know, I go to the market and shit, you know, the liquor stores over here, like all Arabian Chinese. Oh, that motherfucking Chinese eating fucking fluent Tonga. That shit, drive me, and, so it was a culture shock for me, you know. And then, like, my uncles, they make the puakatunu at the house. Man, that puakatunu was off the hook, man. You know, so it was just, there was a lot of things that I was able to learn, you know, while I'm there. But I just know that over there, the thing is, you call the shots. Because you're American, you got money. Money is power. And that's what you have over there, like when you go to Tonga. You just can't let them take advantage of you, like the locals. So you have to be able to call shots. So I was able to learn that, you know, and just be able to experience that. And that's why I said, like, when I came home from Tonga, I was like, first thing I did was kiss my dad. I was like, man, I'm glad you found America, man. I cannot live like this under these conditions. But, like, you know, everything's fresh over there. So I had stomach aches a lot, you know, like So I was used to taking the bathroom, diarrhea, everything, you know.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm just not used to it.
Yeah.
Because everything's fresh. You know, over here we eat processed food like McDonald's and all that. You know? And but just going to that coronation ball, it was just mind blowing for me. Yeah. And just be able to experience that and be able to at least know that, hey, I was able to go there and be able to be part of the king, you know, the Bonima, and I will cherish that to this day, man. I like to be there for Tongan's greatest moments, you know.
Oh yeah. You go back often?
No, the last time I went was 2016. I went there for the Blake family reunion, and my mom, she wanted to go there for the last time. That was her last trip, and at that time I was working at PG&E, so you know, I was like, "Don't trip, Mom, I got you." Pay for her ticket and everything. And we went there. We had a blast. We had a great time. Yeah. And everything. So it was like I plan to go there next year because I just want to take care of some of the family business that we have, you know, over there. But it's just it's grateful to see that, man. Like just see Tonga, and you know, like, and how, you know, I appreciate, like, you know, what I've done, and it also recharges me for what it's like. Man, I need to do more over here. Yeah. You know, we just can't take everything for granted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen that. When it's 2016, what is the biggest change you've seen so far in Tonga from the first time you went there from 2016?
I think I've seen the roads. They have roads now, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Still the same thing, like where they have, you know, I'm not used to, like, you know, like driving to the right hand side, but they have roads, and they have. I think, you know, because now it's governed by the people, you know, like. You know, so a lot of people have a say, you know, to it. Because I know, like, when they were having a lot of the functions, at the family functions at the Queen Salota Memorial, you know, so, you know, I just seen that, and then I just seen, like, you know, the little youngsters, you know, just doing their thing. But, like, I had a homeboy over there, he had a bar, Talieva, and, you know, like, he's from San Bruno, the bar owner. So I was able to, you know, support him and just see it how it is. But it's still the same, the same. But I think it's just a little bit better, you know, because there's more Chinese and there's more wealth coming over there right now, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2011, you attended New Zealand for the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah. So I have family out there in New Zealand, and my dad has a twin sister. Her name's Evalessi, and so her two kids stay over there, and you have to look at this, like my two first cousins, they look Palangi with freckles with blue eyes, you know.
Oh, blue eyes! I
know. Yeah, blue eyes. Yeah, so it's like a Tongan albino. You know what I mean? But they're so mataofa. They love my dad and everything, and I think it's like with them, I wanted to be able to go there and see the World Cup, because the thing is that in 2011, Tonga was in the opening match against New Zealand in the opening ceremony. So that's like prime time for everybody over here. Like, you know, for Tonga to be, the world can be able to see Tonga for that Rugby World Cup. And I was able to go to that game. Even though it was hella expensive and shit, but I was able to see that. And then spend time with my family. Yeah. My first cousin over there and the kids. And just to be able to see how New Zealand, how they operate. You know, because it's like a wealthy Tonga. Yeah. That's the thing, you know, New Zealand, it's like everything's wealthy over there. You know, the fish and chips and all that. There's a lot of good food and everything, but I just had a lot of family over there on my dad's side I was able to see and just spend time with that. Okay. So it was definitely a great experience for me, you know.
Okay. And in Tonga, did you get a lot of Tongan girls holler at you?
Oh yeah, especially when you got, you know, like,
because not
just money, but it's just the accent, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, you want something, you can go get it, you know what I mean? And all that though. So it's, you know, so it was cool, you know what I mean? Like, shit, fucking, like, I was there for like a week and a half, probably had a couple girlfriends or whatever, you know? And all that though, so good thing I didn't get anybody pregnant, you know.
So no, I'm talking about when they see an American, with an American passport, it's all over you.
Yeah, it's like green card, you know.
That's their ticket out.
That's their ticket out to the thing, you know. But the thing is, like, what's good because it's like I like to see different Tongans from different area codes. Yeah, yeah. So that was always my thing, you know. Yeah. And then when I went to that coronation ball, I like to see Tongan girls like dressed up, you know, like dresses and ball gowns. Not the ones in Mormons, you know, like the, you know, you know, conservative and shit. You know, dress and do a little sexy and all that. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, I like seeing women. You know what I'm saying? You know, something dressed up. So I was able to see that at the ball. You know, like in 2009. So it was pretty cool, man, just to be able to see that. And you know, like, sure, there's more to life than what we got over here in the Bay.
That's what's up. All right, so so you had a volleyball in San Francisco.
Yeah, so you know, like I was telling you, I was doing the football thing, like helping out with the young kids. So the volleyball, I remember with a small dude. He was doing it over there in Vallejo, so he wanted to bring it out here to the Bay Area. I said, all right, you know, let me help you out. I can use my resources. So we did it at City College. So it was the first, you know, Polynesian you know, like all-star game over here in high school. I'll tell you this though, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you do poly stuff, it's just you do extra work.
Nobody's on time.
Nobody's on time or anything. Like, you know, I had to try to recruit the kids and, you know, like get the coaches and, you know, try to organize the event. It was a lot of work, you know, and at that time, you know, I put a lot of my whole soul to it. And, you know, like the game got done and then, you know, like shit, what happened was my business partner at the time, you know, he flaked on the facility fee, you know, because we had to pay $1,500 for using the City College facility fee.
Yeah.
If we didn't pay that, it'll jeopardize their season for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
And I had to hustle that. I had to hustle to pay that off. Because that's one thing I don't want to do is jeopardize their season, especially because I have a great relationship with City College with the football program, with Coach Rush. Yeah. Because I remember when I was at Central State, he allowed me to run the tutoring program at City College for the football team, you know, in the off season, spring season. So I didn't want to ruin that relationship. So I had to do what I had to do to hustle that. Yeah. I just take the good with the bad, you know, and you just try to learn from it. Just know that I ain't fucking, you know, cats from Hawaii and shit that trying to do business out here, you know what I mean? This is my territory, you know, because I grew up out here, you know, and all that though. But it was just a learning experience, and you know, we just did what we had to do. But I know it wasn't organized because I was doing everything. Yeah. And I just couldn't get the feedback, you know. Like I said, I failed. Yeah. You know, but we did the game. That was the main thing. We did the game, and we just had to move on, you know, move forward and everything.
All right. Open. All right. All right. So we talked about your sister's wedding that took Howard to your barber.
Yeah. So my cousin Howard, he's one of my niggas I grew up with. Call him Triple H, and so he's always hella funny, man. And so my sister got married back in 2013. My little sister and got married in Alameda. Just think about it. We had an open bar over there, okay? You know what Tongan's open bar is?
All that.
No, but it's just like it's not something that they see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But prior to the preparation, because I did a lot of preparation at that time because I was, you know, like getting the color together and everything. But my cousin Howard, he was asking, "Hey man, can you get my hair?" It's like, "Fuck man, I gotta do this on top of, you know, taking care of all my family responsibilities for my sister's big day, you know, because she deserves it." Yeah. So. I said, all right, man, let me take you to my barber, you know. So I took him to my barber. He's from Richmond, so he had a little spot over there in Oakland. And then I said, me and him were going at it, you know. My barber was like, you know, we just roasting each other, just capping on each other. And my barber was like, damn, man, y'all niggas are hella funny. I never heard so many damn fat jokes in my life, dude. And you know, cause we talk like, you know, we talking, but at the same time we talk like we street. We're from the Bay, you know, and he. You know, like, and my barber was able to get the sense of that, but he never heard these fat jokes before, you know what I'm saying? Because we just know how to clown on each other, you know, just talk shit. Yeah. And that, but I was just happy for because my cousin Howard, he was just like, he was that type that, you know, he always had a special effect in our life, you know, with my siblings. He always has a good relationship with all my siblings. And so he's named after my Uncle Howard. You remember that Palangi guy I was telling you about that helped bring my mom to Florida from Tongan. Yeah. So he's named after him, you know. And I guess he always has that spirit with him, like, cause he's just like, you know, even though you have a bad mood, he'll just know how to brighten up your day. Mm-hmm. So he was one of those niggas like he was always in and out of jail, you know. But I was the only nigga that I always write to him. You know, I write to him, send money in his books. Mm-hmm. I even pick him up from jail. Okay. And so I like when I went on these vacations, like when I went to Tongan, I went to New Zealand, I'd take pictures with all these, like, you know, these Tongan bitches, whatever. And he just loved it because it's like, you know, when you're in jail, like, you know, letters like Christmas to them. Yeah. And I remember he told me a story, like, you know, like he was about to get released, and then one of his cellies was talking. He's like, "Hey man, like, hey, give me those one of those pictures, like, you know, that TP with those girls, man, you know." And he's a lifer, you know what I'm saying? it just makes his day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, for sure, I got you. You know, so. You know, like he always made an impact to all of his Tongan sellers in jail. You know what I mean? And he was just happy to be able to share that with them, and always looked out for him. You know what I mean? So he's always he's been a very big impact in my life. We're kind of like yin and yang. You know what I mean? He's my best man on wedding. You know, so like we just understand each other, and we just know how to flow. We just has like some stories and everything. You know, we just had some escapades or whatever. You know, but. The one thing about him, he always had a mouthpiece, man, you know? He just knew how to talk to girls. And at that time growing up, like, you know, I didn't have no confidence in myself, you know? I might be good looking and everything, but he had like straight Nifo and everything. He just had no shame in his game, man. You know, so...
He was still pulling, though.
He was still pulling it, you know? So I always admired that about him, you know? And like, till this day, we always share those stories, you know? But yeah, that was the story I wanted to share about, like, you know, like, at him at my sister's wedding. He was just a big thing, you know? Like, you know, hey, when black people, like, you know, accommodate, you know, applaud for, you know, for all these damn jokes and shit, you know what I'm saying? That just shows, like, hey, you know, we got some hood in us, you know what I mean? With us home, isn't that?
Yeah, it's always, the barbershop talk is always the funniest.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun, you know?
Oh, it's always fun.
It's always fun. It's just like, you know, at the Kava, you know, it's the same thing at the barbershop. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just no filter. You always get the inside and your stories, and then the thing is, like, they can put you on game as well, you know what I'm saying? When you hang out with these old dudes and all that.
Yeah, and no one takes it personal. Everybody's just...
No, it's just all fun and games.
Yeah, fun and games, yeah.
It's all fun and games, and then you learn a lot from the OGs over there that be coming over there and everything.
It'd be fun to watch.
It's just, you know, it's just a place to have a good time, man, pretty much. And get your hair done, you know?
Yeah, exactly, at the same time. The committee, always talk about the committee for the exhibition.
Yeah, so like, you know, for me to be able to be inspired by what Ikaikai did at New Zealand, when I was able to go to the Rugby World Cup. So in 2013, they had an exhibition match over here in Golden Gate.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so like at Treasure Island, they were going to do it at Treasure Island, and so I got in touch with Devita's dad, you know, Mosese. Seemed like he was in charge of that committee. I reached out to him, I was like, hey, you know, let me see if I can help you guys out with the committee, you know, I just want to be able to come support you guys. And he took me in, and it was great because he had me in those meetings with those Palangi. You remember those experiences I was sharing with my mentor in construction? I was able to put them on game because, you know, with the files, they can only do so much and talk. Yeah. So the Palangis, they just can't talk at their level. Yeah. You know, and for me, I was able to bridge that gap. Yeah. And sit in those meetings. Hey, what are we gonna get out of this? What is this? What's gonna happen? You know, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, so one of the things we had in our meetings, like, you know, with the Palangis that were hosting us at the Golden Gate, it's like, can we bring our own Tongan vendors? It's like, yeah, sure. Just give my number. They can pay for the vendor fee. You know, it's like, okay, cool. So I hit them up on my Tongan connects. You know, you know, like shoot, Togo design, Howard line, everything. You know, and then when they came in town, they stayed at the Crown Plaza over here in Fall City. You know, and so I was able to work with them over there, like, you know, with the hotel management. Because I had 4 years experience of working at the Marriott at the airport. Yeah. So I utilized my hotel experience over there and say, hey, what can we do to, you know, like help out with the bar? You know, like, can we if things escalate or anything happens, just let me know. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like a mediator. You know what I mean? Just to make sure, like, you know, everything goes as smooth. So prior to the rugby match, our committee needed to do a flyer and everything, and I know how to do design, so I was able to put a flyer up together and let everybody know, hey, you know, we got the match over there in Treasure Island. But before that, they had to do some practices over there. So one of the coaches from Ikaikai was like, hey George, can you get a falani for us, because you know, all we have is just a tupenu and the white shirt. That's it. That's all we came from Tongans. Like, don't worry, I got you. So I hooked up one of my niggas that was going to be a vendor from Howard Line. Said, hey, come to the hotel, dress these niggas up, man, you know? So on Friday night, we had Oakland was hosting us. They did a umu for us, the Oakland Tongan community. And we came over there with our Howard Line and the tupenu. And niggas was just going crazy, man. They just never seen that shit before. I was able to make that shit happen, you know? And all that, though. And it was just like all the cats from home was like, hey man, where can I get that shit? Talk to him right here. He's the owner, you know. Yeah. He was one of my homeboys, and he's from San Bruno. Yeah. His name's Marcel, so he's half Tongan, half Miko. but you can speak Tongan hell fluent, you know. But going to the game, you know, like, we had everything prepared, you know, like, because we had Concetti, you know, Thursday and Friday, and then we had the match on Saturday. So the rugby match, it was beautiful. I don't know if you were there, but there were like 3,000-4,000 Tongans that came to the rugby match.
That's a lot.
To come support Tonga,
yeah.
to come support Ikaita. You know, and I'm over there prepping everything, and it's like I'm up on the PA system because we had the Hoiki was going to come over there because Queen Matahao was still alive. She was in town. So, but we had like, you know, the consulate and everything, so we dressed everything with the file and all that. And you know, like Southern Palami was trying to sit next to the file and everything. It's like, I said, y'all need to go sit over there down on the ground with everybody else, okay? Because you can't be disrespecting our thing. Yeah. And that's the thing about me, like, I can talk shit to the Palamis, you know, the files can't, you know, it's intimidating. Yeah. I don't mind talking shit because I protect our Tongan culture. Yeah, yeah. So I took, you know, it's like, hey, go sit over there. You know, you got all these Tongans over here, gonna whoop your ass. Yeah. So they all went down there, and then I'm on the PA system on the pedestal next to the Hoiki, and I'm just seeing our people just all together, just like what I saw in New Zealand, you know, for the opening match. Yeah. Just to see all of us Tongans all come together, and it was just a beautiful sight to see. And I'm looking at myself, shit. I'm the king of San Francisco, you know. But I just looked at that shit, you know. It was just my mindset. You know what I mean? It's just like
you bought it off, and like, you know, you made it happen.
I made it happen. You know?
See it happen.
Like just to see it in fruition, but at the same time, it was great because, you know, with Mosesa, he allowed me to do what I can do. Yeah. It's not easy for OGs to allow that for youngsters to be able to do that. Yeah, yeah. But he saw that I was protecting us. Yeah. We don't want to be taking advantage of Palapalangis, you know. Like as far as like with the money situation, this and that, you know, because it can get a little carried away. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you allow them to do their things, like, because this is our event. This is our event. We don't have to do this. Yeah. But he allowed me to do my thing, like, you know, manage the project and manage all the concepts that were able to get prepared for the. But I'll tell you this, it was exhausting. You know, it was exhausting. Like a whole week, it was exhausting. You know, but. It was just kind of like a project that I enjoyed because I was able to help our community and be able to serve Tonga, you know, for that time, you know, for Ikaita to be here and to be able to help them in that capacity, you know, and you just see the love and support that we get from the community in the Bay Area, like that, you know, like families were coming to the hotel and just bring a mad guy for the team, you know, and it's just so mataofa, you know, that's when you know, like, you know, it's like our culture is so beautiful, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have to do that, but they just do it because they just feel the love, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Tongans from different areas, they just come together and they support you. That's one thing with Ikaita or Matamatonga, it's just, it brings our country together.
Yeah, that's what they do. We're hardcore when it comes to a rugby team.
A rugby team, you know, and it's a big thing. So I was just grateful for that, like, you know, for that experience and to be able to serve our community, you know? And then, like, all those experiences that I had working with Palangs, you know, I was able to put that into fruition, like, you know, when I was part of that committee with my sister, and it was great. You know, they learned from me, and I was able to learn from them, but they allowed me to do my thing, you know, of what I can do.
I know, me and my friend always joke around, because, like, we always see how hardcore our people is when Tonga plays. And we were just saying, my friend was like, man, this is how it is when we lose. Yeah. Imagine if we win.
Just imagine if we win.
Because it's already crazy, even when we lose, we still celebrated.
We still celebrate. So at Treasure Island, it was funny because after the game was over, it was just like, these niggas don't want to leave the bar. Yeah, they're celebrating. They drinking at the bar and everything. You know, it's just like they don't want to go because they enjoyed that. You know? And it was funny because I put the time. Hey, why did you put the time at 10 o'clock? Because Tongan time is 2 o'clock. Okay, so I put it early so everybody can come in.
Yeah,
you know?
You put it 4 hours before.
4 hours before,
and they'll come in on time.
But it was just like everybody just came support. You know, they showed their support for Ikaita, and you know, and they would go and get. You know what I mean? Yeah. And all that. But it was just like, and then the players, they just feel that love over here. You know, they just saw the love and you know, even at the hotels, you know what I mean? Like the hotel was loving it too because they just saw a lot of business coming in at the hotel, and I was able to hustle that too. You know what I mean? Like some of the things I was doing over there. So it was just great. It was a great experience, and it was just great, you know, for our community to be able to see what I can do. You know what I mean? Or what I can contribute to the table.
That's what's up. Okay. Can we talk about the community project with Reading Bonanza?
Okay, so Reading Bonanza was one of my community projects that I did, and it was mainly in East Palo Alto. East Palo Alto is like Little Tonga. And the one I was in charge of Reading Bonanza is a Samoan girl named Marlena Tuisa Sopo. And you remember I was talking about that nonprofit Samoa Mo Samoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it was her grandmother that started that whole Samoa Mo Samoa.
Okay.
You know, making an impact for the Samoan community to get funding.
Mm-hmm.
So with Marlena, she's a Stanford graduate and she's an engineer, and so I reached out to her. Hey, can I help out? You know, because you know, this is my people. You know what I mean? I can be able to serve thee and everything, and she's very bright. She's very smart. So what she was able to utilize is utilize her Stanford resources to bring that project to East Palo Alto. Give out free books, activities, you know, for the kids. Mm-hmm. Get all these palangis you know, like that have money and serve our community. And that's what I was able to be part of. And me growing up, I always read. You know, like I always saw my dad read the San Francisco Chronicle every morning. You know, and I'm a reader. So be able to do that and be able to give back to our Tongan community, that was the main thing. And so she was allowing me to be a part of that, and also allowed me to make decisions with that as well. And then, you know, the day of the event, we had like a lot of volunteers from Stanford. And just imagine me, you know, a Tongan dude, was just like giving all these Tongan, all these palangis from Stanford, giving them a task to do. You know, it's just like, hey, you know, just boogie them. You know what I mean? You don't see that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with the Tongan kids that they came over there for the event, they say, man, this Tongan guys directed them to have them do what they did, you know?
Yeah.
It's something new to them, you know what I mean? And but it was a beautiful event. So we ran through that for like, you know, for 4 years. It was 14, 15. She started out in 2010, you know, and it just got bigger and bigger. So her last year that she did it before she moved to Detroit was in 2017. And the wife of Facebook, Priscilla, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, she came to that event, you know?
Oh, man.
So it's kind of like a big thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing, yeah.
And then they started using that in their Facebook headquarters, you know? But it was run by her. Yeah. She's the one that did it organically, and she wanted to be able to do that and give back to the community.
Okay. We could go over the black electrical contractor as project manager?
Yeah, so in 2014, I was kind of like unemployed for a couple of years. And I was able to get an opportunity to be able to be a project manager for this contractor in the Richmond area, minority contractor, you know, black one. And well, it's great because he allowed me to be a project manager, you know, as a professional, and that was something big for me, you know. So I was able to learn from him.
Was it your first time?
My first time, yeah. You know, like the stuff that I did for my coach, you know, I was like a laborer or assistant, you know. But for me to be able to have that title. So he was able to put me up on game, like, you know, go to these meetings, do bids, you know, like construction bids and everything, and as long as you have your paperwork, you know. So I remember one time we did a bid in Stockton, and it was like worth $250K, and we won it. And I was like my second week on the job and shit. But what I took from him was what I learned from him, because he told me one thing that really stood out. Was like he said electrical engineers are great project managers because they know how to solve problems.
Yeah.
And because he saw my background, I have an electrical engineering degree. He just knew that I could solve problems. So I took that from him, and I was able to learn from him, you know. Even though I didn't last that long with him because we kind of butt heads.
Yeah.
But it was just an experience that I was able to gain, you know, to be able to utilize it, you know, for the future.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm grateful for that.
I see we have the Kingdom Bowl. The Kingdom Bowl again?
Yeah, so you know how we had the Poly Bowl in 2012.
Yeah, the Poly Bowl, yeah.
And then this guy came down from Hawaii. I don't want to say his name, but he did the Kingdom Bowls, and he was doing over there in Hawaii and Tongan.
What's the Kingdom Bowl?
Kingdom Bowl is kind of like an all-star football game, just composed of Tongans. Not just Polish, you know, just composed of Tongans. So he wanted to do one here in the Bay Area. So he saw what I did for the Kaitahi, so he reached out to me because he knew I was doing football stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I'll come help you out, utilize my resources and everything, you know. And so I was able to get a lot of these Tongan kids that they never heard of it to be able to, hey, be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, so we had that game at the College of San Mateo, because San Mateo is neutral for the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know, people from Hayward can come down, Concord, San Bruno, EPA. You know, it's like the hub. San Antonio's the hub, you know. You can't do over there. City's all hot more, you know. Yeah, there's no parking over there. So we did a CSM. But then, you know, in preparation, we did all the preparation. But then, probably 2 weeks before it, he ended up firing me, you know. Like, he didn't want me to be a part of the game.
Why?
And because I guess he's just used to his decisions of doing his own thing.
Oh.
And but the thing is, when you come to somebody else's territory, you have to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
You know, he's coming from Hawaii. You know, I'm from the Bay. This is my territory. You know, if I go to Hawaii, I gotta adapt to to their standards. Yeah. And then so he I guess he just saw like a lot of exposure and everything. I guess he probably didn't like the fact that I was very involved, and but for me, it's all about the kids. That's why I always look at it.
Yeah.
So when the game happened, and the kids were like, "Hey, where were we at?" It's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I don't want the kids to know what's going on, the drama.
Yeah.
I just want them to be able to play and be able to expose to the whole Tongan culture." But some of the locals over here were like, "Hey, what happened, man? What's going on, man? How come we're not involved?"
Yeah.
I told them the truth. It's like, this nigga fired me and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, "You gonna ask me for help, but then fucking fire me?" You know what I'm saying? On a project, especially some territory that I'm working with, that I've been involved with the Tongan community over here. But we had the game. They had the game at Senior Sam. It was just him, but like his staff that he had, hella cool, man. Like some of his cousins and they're cool. They're about to offer. They're all about kids and everything. But it was just him that was in charge of, and like he just kept. But then he did it like a year after, and then it just faded out because nobody wanted to fuck with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not serious.
Because the thing is, you have to understand, like, you can't teach me about business when you're from Hawaii. That's all the tech hub right here,
Yeah.
We know what's going on out here, So, but it was nice to have it. Like I was able to be a part of the preparation of that process.
Okay.
Of that game, to help out with the Tongan kids,
Okay. So you went after that. You went to work at PG&E.
Yeah, so I finally got the opportunity to be able to work at PG&E because after college, because my degree was in electrical engineering, focused on power. Power is like utilities.
Yeah. But
at that time, I couldn't get a job right away. I barely graduated from college.
From college, yeah.
2.2, whatever you get. And they want like 3.0s or something like that. I don't have that. Because I went through a lot of experiences. So when that opportunity came up, man, I took advantage of it at PG&E, and it was just like project management. I was mainly working here in San Francisco, and doing work in San Francisco because it's 49 square miles, very tight.
Yeah. You
got to be very creative, because you don't have much space to work around. And man, I learned a lot. I was able to learn from like inspectors and everything. My main title was like field engineer. It's mainly kind of like a project manager for the contractors. We use contractors to do our work because we didn't use union because the in-house, because they go by the union book, and contractors are they trapping, they're hungry for work. Yeah. And my thing is, I always want to get things done fast. I don't want to wait around.
Plus, they have a deadline.
They have a deadline.
Yeah.
And so they were able to do our work, and I was able to learn a lot of the power stuff, a lot of the stuff in the city. I was able to learn from from our OG inspectors how they do things, and I just took a lot of that experience, with that, for that time. So I was grateful for that,
Were you the only Tongan working at PG at that time?
In my department, yeah, but then I know there was like because there's other Tongans that probably work as like a electrician or a field worker. Okay. But in the office, I was mainly in my department. I was mainly the only Tongan. I know there was a lady that worked in the corporate office. Okay. She worked there, but there's just so many PG&E employees. It's like probably 20,000.
Yeah, PG&E is a big company.
It's a big company, but our main office was in Daly City, so my main thing was our area was mainly San Francisco. That was our main thing,
Okay. All right, so I know you already talked about. You did talk about your mom going the last trip, right? Back to the Blake family reunion. I know you talked about that.
Yeah.
So I do want to go into you quitting PG&E and then mental health.
Yeah. We do that.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm feeling myself, man. You got the Kava over here, I got some food coming in at 3 o'clock.
Set the mood right?
Huh?
Set the mood right?
Yeah, That this is all for your thing, man, you know what I mean? How you liking it so far?
It was good, man. You guys got some good stories, good experiences. 4,000 Tongans in one area. I can only imagine like the 5-hour sessions after that.
The what?
Really, when you said that the Galatahi came, he had like 4,000 Tongans.
Like 4,000 Tongans, yeah.
I can only imagine the fight that was right after.
Oh man, everybody just had a great time over there. It was just, it was a great experience, man. Just to be able to see that, and because we did the concerti in Oakland, and in Redwood City, did one in San Bruno. So like we raised like over 100,000. So I'm very proud of that. Be able to part of that, and just be able to give back all that money to the thing.
Yeah.
But then there was some shit like like I was just getting overwhelmed. When I was doing all the work.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about doing Polynesian events is finding a team.
Yeah, finding a team, because like the thing is that they can say, but it's different between saying and doing. And then they're doing this last minute.
Yeah, everybody's doing last minute. Everybody's just like.
I like to prepare,
Yeah.
Be prepared.
A lot of times, like everybody's just waiting for the next person to do something.
Yeah.
Instead of just like proactive. Like, okay, don't wait for somebody to do something. Just do it yourself.
Yeah. So when I did the event for that day in Church Run, then we had a concerti that night. They wanted me to count the money. Like, nah, nigga, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm burned out. And I think because everyone was having such a good time, like the people in charge of Golden Gate, they gave me the fee. They gave me the money. The check for, for the fee. For using like of our payment of the agreement. And these our community is just having such a good time because I'm all business.
Yeah.
I want to make sure our money is taken care of, and this and this. I'm not drinking on the job.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're taken care of. And then, what's the thing? Where the money at? It's right here. That's why I stayed here, to make sure we collect our fee.
Yeah.
And then over there drunk on nabe and pick shit up. You know what I mean? These kids need to go home with some money. You know what I'm saying?
Feel it. So we talk about you quit PG&E and then talk about mental health.
Yeah, definitely do that. There's a lot of deep stuff going on with that. I think it'll be relatable to a lot of the kids that are going through that right now.
So what's your experience with that?
Just a lot of being burned out.
Yeah.
Stressful and everything, and it's just like because my dad went through a lot of mental health, especially when he's smart. We have a thing called in Tongan called Palusi. It's like it's kind of like half schizophrenic, half bipolar.
Yeah.
It's the Albert Einstein disease.
Yeah.
So my dad has it, my siblings have it. So I went through some shit with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be able to share that on camera, and then plus like how I overcame it. You know what I mean? And all that. Yeah, but that's what usually happens. And shit.
Yeah. So because I know mental health. It's something like not a lot of people don't understand.
It's a taboo. Yeah, it's a taboo.
Yeah. Right. When you talk about mental disorders, I think I was talking to one of my friends. She said that Polynesians they only understand physical pain. If they don't see the pain, they don't think it's real. So like mental pain, like suffering, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Unless if they don't see you hurt, you're good.
Yeah.
So
and like my dad dealt with it throughout his whole life. You
Yeah.
know? And we had to deal with it.
Yeah.
So just him going through his little things, little phases and stuff like that, and it's like, man, that's why I'm proud of my mom. Like she took it, you know what I mean? And we dealt with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that though. So like a lot of days, you just go crazy and loco and everything.
Yeah.
But each of us, deal with it differently.
Yeah.
My siblings, we all deal with it differently, because
Yeah.
we all deal with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but I just rather share my story, of my mental health, like on camera.
Yeah.
And because I think it'll be something like, for the kids to be able to see what I went through and how I overcame it,
So what did you go through?
Me? I went through like a lot of adversity, like depression.
Yeah.
Nothing really suicidal, but it was
Yeah.
just like mainly depression.
Yeah.
And just like being overwhelmed,
Yeah.
overwhelmed with a lot of work. Like when you do a good job, they give you more work.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
And then you just get caught up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you're not getting the help or resources that I need to to take care of the work. So it's just like continues to build up. Or at that point, I gotta quit. I can't deal with this shit no more.
Yeah.
And so I need a peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's the way I have to look at it, you know what I mean? Like, you have to find your outlet.
Yeah.
Outlet could be like, you know, kaipo, or, you know, just talking to somebody that that might be going through it, you know, somebody that you're comfortable with. And like, you know, it's just doing things that, you know, because every nigga these days need a peace of mind. You know what I mean? That's why I look at it.
Yeah.
You gotta have a peace of mind. If you're constantly getting like, you know, hearing the same shit over and over again, it's aggravating, you know? Or it's just like you're provoking me, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to go that extreme.
Yeah.
I'd rather, you know, mitigate it, you know, by like, hey, let me just quit, you know? Instead of going to that extreme, because that extreme might put me in jail or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And so you just have to be able to learn how to, you know, deal with it in a way and try to not get to the worst of the situation.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. When you were going through it, were you aware?
Is it on camera or no?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was off. My bad.
Oh, did you want it? Oh.
No. I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I think, okay, so like, basically, so what happened at before I left PG&E, they transferred me to the East Bay in Richmond. And short notice, you know, so pretty much I had to drop all my projects here in San Francisco and go over there. So when you go there, it's just like learning a new system. Okay. You have to learn a new process. Yeah. Because I was so used to the San Francisco process. Yeah. I think the good thing about going over there, because I was able to work challenging projects, because my supervisor in San Francisco, he gave me the easy ones. He didn't feel the need that I could be able to do the difficult ones. But he doesn't understand, like the engineers that we have in our team, I was the only one that was electrical. Everyone was like civil or mechanical or, you know, environmental. I'm more electrical, you know, so I'm more focused on PG power. Yeah. So for him to transfer me over there, and he knew like I lived in the Pittsburgh area at that time. So when I went there, I had to learn a new process, and I was getting work done. I was just like getting it done, you know. My mind was going fast. Yeah. But then also, I had to train some of these engineers over there because they don't know. Yeah. Well, like how to do this, how to do that. You know how you say yeah, but they have to figure it out themselves. Yeah. So they'll ask me questions like, hey, how'd you do this? Like, oh, this is how you do it, you know? And I explain it in a term where they can understand. So, oh, okay. And like, can you come to a field meeting? You know, like tell me how to do it with the contractor? Yeah, sure. So I'm able to do that, but at the same time, I can't do my own work. Yeah. You know, so when I went there, it was funny because my boss, he told me on a Wednesday, hey, I need you to go to Richmond on Friday. Yeah. Short notice. Yeah. And when I went over there on Friday, it was just like, have all these, I had to replace an engineer that left the company. But he had projects, he had like, you know, like for instance, he had power shutdowns, you know, for some of these clearances, you know, for these jobs that are going to start on Monday. I got to catch up with all that work. I need to find out what's going on with this job, you know. So it's like I'm cramming myself, you know, like it's like, you know how you go to finals and you have to cram everything. Yeah. And so I was able to do that. Okay, cool. Let me get this thing, knock this thing out. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me go to another meeting. You know, I'm using my people skills like, hey, let me network. Let me, you know, have a good communication with the inspectors for that city. You know, like, because in the East Bay, I had to cover like you know, Concord, Antioch, all the way to like Richmond, Oakland. Yeah. You know, so it's a lot of area to cover. You know, San Francisco, you just 49 square miles. That's it. Yeah. So I was able to, you know, navigate around. But then at the same time, I had an Asian supervisor over there. She was a woman, and she was kind of like micromanaging. You know what I mean? Like in a way, like we had to do one-on-ones, and it's like, you know, to go over my projects. Like I didn't feel the I need to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I need to be out there in the field, because that's the only way you learn when you're on the field. Learn and all that. So this happened for like maybe 4 weeks, and I had to ask my old supervisor in San Francisco, was like, hey, I need help. But then he was like threatening me, hey, you know, I might let you go. Because part of the condition for me to go there, like they were going to extend my my contract for another year. And I said, okay, cool, I'll take it. But then things were piling up. It was a mess. So then when you're, like what I was is like a hiring hall. So I'm an at-will employee. Yeah. So they can either fire me any day or I can quit any day. Yeah. You know, I don't have to give a 2-week notice. Yeah. So my contract was coming up, like, you know, the last day of June 2017. I just quit. Yeah. I said, hey, this is my last day. It's time for me to go. Yeah. Because that mental health will just continue to build up. Yeah. Because if I didn't do that, I would have fucking, like, you know, probably strangle the damn supervisor or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to get that far.
Yeah.
So what happened was I left, you know, I had to go through some shit, you know, depression, just deal with it. It's like, fuck, how am I going to pay my rent? You know, I'm paying like $1,500 a month, you know, at my own little bachelor pad in Pittsburgh. But then I had to go file for unemployment. While file for unemployment is mental health.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Because usually, like, if you quit, you can't file for unemployment. But I just did it because it's like mental health.
Yeah.
So at first, PG&E denied me. I was like, the only way you can fight is like, let's say, go through appeal. Like, damn, I gotta find an appeal. So I did an appeal, you know? And then, like, in an appeal process is like, you go to court with the judge. And, you know, the stuff I learned in church, you know, white shirt and tie and everything. Yeah. I dress up like that, you know, like a good church boy. Yeah. You know, because I need to please the judge, okay? You need to be on my side. Yeah. So I went over there and to my appeal hearing, and, you know, I met my two supervisors, you know, the one from Richmond area and the one from San Francisco. So they explained their side of the story, and I explained my side of the story. And my supervisor from San Francisco, he's Asian dude, you know, so he can bullshit and all that, but then, like, he had nothing to support him, you know what I mean? Yeah. And all that though, so he couldn't support his actions for what he did. Like they took, you know, like the judge told him, hey, you know, can you, were you gonna tell George that he was gonna come back to San Francisco to go back into his work? No, we didn't have that discussion. And then I was like, you know, told him, hey, these are the actions that will happen, you know, while I was in the Richmond area, and I asked him for help. He didn't ask for help, you know, so he was lying to the judge, you know. Yeah. And then the judge favored me. Overturned the decision in favor of me, so I was able to collect all that unemployment. And that's the thing, I'm not scared, you know, like I'm not scared to fight for what I've done, you know. So I think ever since then, I've been blackballed from PG&E. Yeah. Because they know that, like, you know, oh, you know, I got the best of my boss, my supervisor, and all that. But the thing is, it wasn't about it, you know. For me, what I tell the PG&E is just the experience, the work experience, and to be able to learn that I can be able to do these things. You know, I don't probably need to come. I could just do this on my own as a contractor. Yeah. But, you know, I was grateful for the work, you know. I was grateful for the opportunity that they given me, you know what I mean? But, like, it was just, it was very tough at that time, you know. But I just let them know how, you know, at least give it a fight. And that's one thing I'm good at is paperwork, you know. It's just like, hey, let me do the documentation to make sure everything's good, you know. And that's the thing, what you learn when you learn what palamis and all that, you know. Yeah.
When you were going through your mental health, did you open up to anybody in your family?
I think at that time,
did you keep it to yourself?
I kept it to myself, man. I didn't want to let everybody know. I think I let my older brother know, you know, because he's an engineer. And the thing is, I face racism, you know, at work, but I don't let it get to me. That's the thing about it, you know, because I felt that, you know, like, remember I was telling you, like, you know, I'm the only electrical engineer for this team, and they're all environmental, but they're doing challenging projects, and my boss is not giving me that. You know what I mean? And I wasn't full time, so, like, I kept trying to be permanent, but they didn't give it. So maybe that was a sign. You know, it's like, hey, maybe they don't want you over there. You know, it is what it is. You know, but I was, you know, they paid me good. You know, I was making $80K a year. Yeah. You know, so I was doing good, and it was a job that I love. You know, it was the job that I was kind of built for. You know, where I could be able to move on with the company. But it just didn't happen, and you know, you just got to be able to move forward. But at that time, when I was going through, like, you know, my mental, oh shit, I had to go to a strip club, I had to find my outlets, you know. Yeah. I had to do what I had to do to relax my mind, relax my body. Yeah. And I think that helped me out. I'm not much of a drinker, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, in a way, like, I had to, like, you know, talk to people that I'm close to, hey, this is what happened, you know. But you left all that money. And for me, it's not about the money, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just finding peace, and if you don't have those opportunities and to have peace at work, whatever, just go up and quit. Yeah. And but, you know, could I have done it differently? Of course, I could probably done it differently, you know, for the next time, because I don't want to be labeled as a bad worker or whatever, you know. He can't fit for the company. Yeah. Because I did my all, you know. Yeah. Especially, and you know, when you give your all and you get hurt because you don't get the support from your supervisor, it hurts me, man, you know, because I'm giving you everything I got, you know. So that was just something I had to deal with, you know. Yeah.
What was it like, as far as like the mental health, Because do you see a lot of people in your life, like, you know, family and friends, do they suffer through mental health?
Yeah, they suffer, you know. Like, I had an uncle that he was in the Tori, you know, the psychiatric ward and everything, and he had to go through it, you know. And sometimes when you go through it, you just can't really dwell off on it. Like, you know, like, let's say family come support them. Yeah. You know, the family will come criticize. He's just making it worse. Yeah. He just want to make sure they feel good. So one of the things I did when I went to Tongan in 2016 was I wanted to see my uncle, my dad's younger brother. Yeah. His name's Palalama Jr. Yeah. And he was in the Tori. Yeah. And I just wanted to go there, just love him, meet him, and just spend time with him, and just make sure he's good, you know? Let him know, hey, I think about you, and my dad thinks about you. And he just, you know, fuck over, he just cries, like, tell your dad I love him, you know, this and that, you know? And just having a good feeling. You can't talk about, like, oh, what medication you on? What are you doing this, you know? What are you doing that? You can't talk about that. You just gotta show him love, you know what I mean? And all that, though. And that's what you have to do, like, you know, that people are going through, like, let's say a depression or mental health. You just gotta show them some love and just make them laugh, you know? Yeah. Shit like that, you know, just to make them, put them in good spirits. Yeah. Because if you keep, like, you know, reminding them, like, what they're locked up for and all that, well, they ain't gonna try to fuck with you, you know? Yeah. You're just making that shit worse. Yeah.
Is that what you see sometimes a lot of polys do, like when people go mental health? Yeah. It's more like criticism and...
It's more criticizing than loving.
Than understanding. Yeah. Than loving and understanding, yeah.
And I think it's like, when you deal with them, you have to be able to be
just open-minded. They just need that love, man.
That love.
Let them go through what they're going through.
Let them go through what they go through.
Just know that there's somebody, yeah.
And let them know that, hey, you're here for them, you know? Yeah. And all that, though. Let them know, like, you know, that you're not neglecting them. Say, hey, show them some love and everything, you know? No. And they'll be open to it, and hey, you might change their life around, you know, before they commit suicide or whatever, you know, whatever disastrous thing that they might go through.
I know, I was reading something on the other day. It said the highest teenage suicide rate. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
You get to guess which country would that be. What would you guess?
USA.
Huh?
USA.
USA? No.
The country?
Yeah.
For the highest suicide?
Yeah, the highest. Which country do you think has the highest suicide teenage rate?
Sure, USA? Probably.
Not the USA.
Who is it?
Give me one more chance.
What, Tonga?
No. It's a Pacific island.
Samoa?
Nope.
Fiji?
New Zealand.
New Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah? Well, they've been doing that once for warrior shit. Huh?
Yeah, Uncle Pooty. Check the Musk. But yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was surprised. They said that the highest in the world per square mile, like as far as the highest suicide teenage rate is in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
And I was astonished when I read that. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Because I can understand, like, you know, with remember, like, the once a war is, you know, there's a lot of, like, you know, like incest or whatever, you know, like rape and all that. You know what I mean?
And then they just keep that.
You know, just let that. But you
just brush that
off, you know?
The road, yeah.
But you have to be able to address that, you know. Like, I think, like, one of my things, like, hey, if I have a problem or somebody have a problem, let's talk about it, you know. Yeah. Have a healthy conversation. Yeah. Being open-minded about it. Yeah. That's the thing, and be able to listen. Yeah. Because a lot of things we can just talk, but you don't listen. Go for no bit. Yeah. It's just one ear out the other.
What I think, because, you know, Tongan culture, you know, when you talk back to your parents, it's seen as disrespect. Yeah. Even if you're not even Talahui, you're just having a if you're just voicing, like, you know, this is my thoughts, right? You know, like a healthy dialogue. Like, even a healthy dialogue is considered Talahui. So, like, that's why mental health, I feel like, it's a big problem, because kids feel like they can't say anything because it's seen as Talahui, Tapapapa. But, you know, I think it's important that if you are going through something that is wrong and you're experiencing something within your family that's mistreating you, you have to speak up. But because of our culture, they don't speak up, and then they just suffer.
I think the best way to do is, like, you know, the OGs is bringing mankind, you know, like, you know, show it by action. Yeah. You know, have food with them of the things that they like, and then just talk about the problems, because they'll be more open to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but sometimes the problem is, like, the OGs is the ones.
Yeah, the OGs don't want to hear it. Yeah.
The ones that's hurting you, and then you have to, like, okay.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You know, because like, you know, the Tongan pride is still there, man. Yeah. They just stuck in their own ways, and they're just not able to be open, you know.
And plus, like I think one of my friends was like the other day we were talking about it. You know, we're a proud race. You know, we're a warrior
very
race.
proud culture. Yeah.
So like anything emotional is seen as a weakness.
Yeah.
But especially for men. So like you talk about your feelings as a Tongan man, you're like, oh, yeah, right. So it's just like it just discourages any guy.
You know, like shit like that, and be like nah, you know.
So so guys that's going through mental health or even going through feelings, like it discourages them from even saying anything.
Yeah.
So they'd rather just suffer than suffer like the judgment of the people and say, oh, this guy's you know, he's not strong.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I dealt with that too. Like, I'd rather like, you know, deal with it myself than let people know what I'm going through, because they'll criticize like, oh, okay, but it's not like you're helping me with the problem. You're just making the problem worse.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it, you know.
But I feel like, but the one thing, because I used to go through that a lot when I was growing up, but then I realized that there's people that out there that can help you.
Yeah.
Because I used to think, okay, nobody cares. Because you know, when you're depressed, you feel like nobody cares. Nobody's like the whole world is against you, and you're all alone.
And it's like, you know, like us Tongans, we're very proud of, like, we don't want to, like, you know, live off of government cheese and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, like the EBT and all that. You know, we'd be slinging that EBT back in the days, but it's there for, you know, to help you get back on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong getting those services.
Yeah.
And those services are provided for you, you know, if you qualify. But you just got to go out there and make it happen, well, you know.
That's just ego, man.
Don't worry about things, because it'll help you, like, you know, to provide for your family and everything, to get back on your feet.
Yeah.
That's where those services are there.
Yeah.
And people, especially our Tongan community, they don't, because, you know, like, because the thing is that us Samoans, you know, Samoans, like, you know, they'll do that. But us Tongan, we're just so proud, you know. We'd rather go yacht and everything, work hard for our money.
Yeah.
And but if those services are there for you for free, take advantage of it.
Yeah, take advantage of it. Get back on your feet, but it's just, I feel like
don't just abuse it, you know. Just take advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I abused it back in the days, you know. But like right now, I don't do that. You know because I learned my lesson. You know. But you just want to be able to utilize those resources they're given to you, you know, to be able to help you.
And also, one thing I realized too, like, you know, that even if you don't find the help at home, there's our organization, nonprofits.
Yeah.
I think Monica, she has one called
Talama for Tongans.
Yeah,
there's a nonprofit, Talama for Tongans, San Mateo. There's also one PCRC, run by Melissa Nadal and them, you know.
Yeah, so there are nonprofits out there that want to help you if you can't
support their services, you know.
Yeah.
But I know us Tongans, like, they just don't want their business out there on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with other Tongans.
Yeah.
Rather like share that with Palangis or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like that too, so I don't want you know, all my business out there on the street. You know, but it's just like but it's those resources are there for you.
Yeah, and there's people out there to help you. I think that's how I was able to overcome my depression. It was like when I realized, wait, there are people out there that cares about what I'm going through, and they're willing to hear. That's when I realized there was hope.
Yeah, there's hope, but then it's just like, but people deal with it differently.
Yeah,
you know?
everybody's different.
And everybody has their own different outlet.
Yeah.
And I have my own outlet, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I have to drink a little fifth of Hennessy, whatever, you know, or kaipo, have a kaipo session, you know, with my close ones, you know. And then, you know, but you just don't want to keep it all bottled up.
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
You keep it bottled up, it's just gonna make you like feel like, you know,
explode.
Worse where it might be suicidal.
It's like a ticking time bomb. Like you just bottle up, it's gonna blow up sometime.
You just have to let it go, man. You know, breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, exhale.
Yeah, just take it day by day. So talk about the community project with the Fan First Foundation.
Okay, so Fan First Foundation is run by Marshawn Lynch. His cousin Josh Johnson. They're from Oakland. I was able to be linked with Marshawn Lynch because back in the day I used to go to the gym in Oakland, private gym called Club One, and just to be able to hoop, you know. I hoop over there. I like to hoop with the Oodies. I like to, like, you know, challenge myself, you know, to better get myself. So me and Marshawn had a conversation. We just had a friendship, man, and it was funny because he just gave me his number in front of all my niggas, you know. Oh hella Ita and shit, like he gave me his number in front of them. I never asked her. I just kept it 100, you know, because that's how I am. I just keep 100. I'm not trying to, like, you know, kiss your ass or whatever or anything. So I did this project. I helped out with this camp in 2014, and then I did the one in 2017. 2017, it was the same day as the Island Reggae Festival that they have, you know, over here in San Jose. So, but when I went there in 2017 to help out, because usually I do the registration and everything set up, get the kids registered and before they go into the camp. And what's great about Marshawn, because what he does is he brings all the kids on the football field and all the parents are on the sideline. He allows them to be himself in front of the kids. Yeah. You know, they can hear him cussing. He plays rap music. Yeah. He allows them to be himself. He don't have to fucking do this, you know, but he does it because he wants to serve his community. Yeah. You know, so when you have these camp, and he just signed with the Raiders, so they had the camp at the Raiders practice facility in Alameda. So I was able to go there and support, and you know, be a part of the registration team and everything. And so funny thing is, at the end, because they have all these sponsors like Skittles, you know, is one of the sponsors, and Ike sandwiches, Nike shoes. He gives out free cleats for the kids. They're all corporate sponsors. They all support it. Yeah. And he gives it away. So, you know, us Tongans, like, you know, when we go to a Tongan function, we always follow all the food, huh? Everybody take on all the food, huh? So I use that, you know, I use the same technique, okay, to the Odi show or buying stuff, you know, because I'm volunteering, but I'm also volunteering in a way where, hey, I want to be able to, hey, if I see those Tongan kids getting registered, you know, I cut them on the line, you know. Get them in, because I want them to get exposed to other things. You don't have to just do Tongan shit. Just go to other, like, Udi in the NFL and everything. So, at the end of the event, so what happened was, we had all these leftover Skittles and everything. So I asked Marshawn, hey Marshawn, what do you want to do with all these Skittles? He said, take it. I said, you don't have to tell a nigga twice, alright? You know? So he said it in front of everybody. So I straight follow all the fucking Skittles and put it in my car. And then I follow, like, you know, like, the ice sandwiches and all the shoes, all the leftover shit. Because it's all free shit. The corporate's, you know, giving it to you, you know? And, you know, niggas like, hey, can I get a little box of Skittles? Yeah, for sure, I got you, you know? But they're scared to say that in front of Marshawn, you know? And, man, when I did that, it was funny because I came back to the Bay, you know, I came from Oakland to San Bruno and drop off, you know, like, you know, to the Kalapo over there in San Bruno and to my family over here, and I saved some, and then I went to the after party for the Island Reggae Festival. It was at Doubletree. And nigga, I was giving out Skittles like nothing, you know? Like, hey, compliments from Beast Mode, you know? I'm wearing the Marshawn Lynch shirt and everything, you know? So I do those, you know, I fuck with him because we just keep it 100, you know? And I still touch him every now and then. I don't bother him, you know, as much. But it's just the fact that, you know, I'm part of his team to be able to help out with that. And I utilize him because I want to be able to bring our Tongan kids to his camps. To be able to, you know, hey, be exposed to, you know, something bigger than just within our own community, you know what I mean?
That's dope, man.
Yeah. Everybody was fucking getting Skittles left and right. Like, damn, nigga, it's like shit.
Doesn't he have a store in Oakland, like a clothing store?
Yeah, he has a Beast Mode store over there in Oakland, and then he has one in in Seattle. I think he opened one in Vegas. You know, when the Vegas turned to Raiders and that. You know.
Yeah, it's hella fun to watch.
So he does a lot with this community, and
he's a real dude. You can tell. He keeps
it 100.
He keeps it 100.
He keeps it 100. He ain't no filter.
He doesn't care what people think.
He just has a good time, man. That's all, you know. But he's all about the kids. Yeah. That's the thing about it, you know.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about when you were living out your college experience in that time.
Yeah. So you know, when I was living in Pittsburgh, you know, I lost my job at PG&E, and then for like 9 months after I left the company, it's like I was hustling, you know, for those 9 months to pay rent. And like, you know, I was, you know, doing little security jobs, but it wasn't up to the salary that I had at PG&E. And I was like, man, I don't know how I did it, you know what I mean? But it all came to an end, you know. Then on top of that, I did like 3 concerts, you know, like promoting like 3 concerts. So at that time, you know, in April of 2018, it's like, fuck, I gotta let everything go. So I put everything in my storage. I was like, shit, let me just live out of my car. At that time, I didn't tell nobody about that shit, you know. I was still working, but I had my car around, you know. I did a little Uber on the side, and then a little security every now and then, but I just had to do what I had to do. And it was good because at that time, I also got like a membership at 24 Hour. So I was able to, you know, go over there and take showers, stuff like that. But I had to survive, you know. I didn't want to come. Is it still on?
Yeah, no, I had to turn it back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like, you know, I had to go through that, and you know, just taking those baby steps. You know, because the thing is that, you know, I was thinking ahead, but I gotta, like, you know, humble myself.
You're still living in the past.
Yeah, still living in the past.
What it used to be, but you gotta face the facts. That
I mean, like, fuck, I went from PG&E to Walmart.
Yeah.
And at first I was very disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell anybody where I'm working at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I gotta make money.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like just making those baby steps. So I was able to progress, and then I moved out the house, my cousin's house, because I stay in the living room, but I do what I have to do to survive. So I'm making extra money. Hey, renting out a room. Able to have my privacy. So now it's just like getting better and better. Now I have an opportunity to. I was able to have an opportunity to be able to make more money. So I went to another company. I don't want to say the other company name, but it allowed me to make more money. Over there. But it might be a drive away, but I still have my vehicle. Yeah. So I was able to. So I'm progressing, and that's the way I have to look at it. Humbling myself and be able to take those progressions and definitely help me with my depression, with the mental health. It's like now I'm at peace. So right now, 2020 is just like it's all about TP right now. It's like I'm doing good, and because I went through it. When you go through adversity, it just makes you stronger. Yeah. Because you can go through anything. Yeah. And then at the same time, I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Yeah. So I'm grateful for at the position where I'm at right now because I took those steps. At first I was like looking at the past, but it shouldn't be about the past. It's like, hey, trying to move forward and try to take those necessary steps. Because you know how it is. Like sometimes when you live in somebody else's house, the family gonna talk about that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Make you feel uncomfortable. It's like, damn, man.
But that's life. Yeah.
That's the talk of the town. You know what I mean? But I look at it in a way. It's like, my cousin Howard helped me out. Now I'm able to help him out. You know what I mean? So we see each other like once a week on my day off. I'll go bring a mad guy for him, but that nigga love to eat, you know what I'm saying? But we just talk and just talk stories and shit like that, because we're comfortable with each other, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm just at peace. Yeah. That I can do anything I want, but I just do it at my pace. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. We covered pretty much covered everything, man.
Yeah.
What's the out of everything you went through in your whole life? If anybody out there that's watching this, like, what advice would you give them?
I think the advice is just like, hey, you gotta live life, you gotta fail, learn from your mistakes, like my dad passed away last year, and the thing about my dad, because I spent time with him, like before, later on in his life, we spent time with the old folks, they appreciate that. Yeah. And you know how it is, like when you go to putus and everything, the kids are always like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. So when my dad passed away, it's funny because I was happy. I was happy in a way that I valued my time with him. I had time with him to be able to spend with him. And I didn't really cry because I enjoyed it, his later, his last days. I mean, shit, I took him on vacation to Salt Lake because he wanted to see his other kids. Yeah. And I took them around by train. My sister got mad. Why don't you just fly? Like, nah, I got time. Mm-hmm. So I was able to have time with him and my mom. I took them to family functions. Just have a good time. And the thing is, I never really mourned. Like when my dad passed away because I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed our time that we had, together in life. And then it's like, hey, what'd you do for me? I tell him that, and he say, "You're lucky I born you." That's the saying, you know what I mean? Yeah. Lucky I born you and everything. But what I look at, like, especially with the youngsters and everything, what they're going through, just spending time with parents, spending time with, if you have grandparents, spend time with them. Yeah. They're the Google, okay? They can tell you stories and history of what they came through, the hardships that they went through, and you can be able to appreciate a lot more. Yeah. Everybody can be, it's funny because like a lot of people are just, I'm starting to see that they're trying to be, hella smart on social media and everything. And I'm looking at it in a way it's like, nigga, you didn't fucking pass your U.S. history and shit. What makes you think you're an expert on Trump?
Everybody is a therapist and motivational speaker in social media.
And I'm just looking at myself like, come on, dog, I know your ass, And then, which is a good thing, but I think also another thing you don't want to take back is like, don't put everything on social media, Yeah. Because You know, people get fired, you know, for what you put on there.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and it's like you get fired on your day off, okay? Like, you know, for the stupid shit that you put in there. Even for youngsters that are vouching for football scholarships, you know, they watch that. They watch what you say and watch what you do. That's why I'm very private. Like, you know, I only do things like, you know, what I'm doing now on Instagram and Facebook is I'm doing like a little COVID concert series. Because back then I used to promote concerts. I used to do concerts. So I have old concert footage, just showing love to them, you know. Since none of us can't go to concerts, and I'm able to show it like online, you know, and for them to see that experience. And I think it's going good, you know, because everybody's getting a lot of good feedback about it. It's like, I don't have to do it, but it's just my way, like, hey, you know, let's just have some fun instead of being depressed about the whole COVID thing and everything, you know. But I just look at it like, you know, you just have to enjoy life, you know, spend time with family, you know, like, you know, talk things out, man. You know, if you have a problem with somebody, try to talk it out in person. You know, not just like, you know, over text or whatever, thing like that. It's just trying to talk things out and just be careful what you say on social media. You know, I always live by the barbershop rules, you know, like what you say stays here, you know what I mean? You know, that's why I want to give that, you know, like, give that like, you know, just keep it within amongst yourselves, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to do too much. You know, social media, because everything is instant. Everything was, you know, you want an instant response, everything. And just go talk, you know? Like, you know, talk to the people that, you know, that you're comfortable with, you know, just give them a call, and that's what I'm doing right now is like, you know, I'm here in the Bay Area for this weekend, but I'm making appointments, you know, while I'm in town with the people that I care about, you know. Hey, I'm in town, we'll see if we can hang out, you know, stuff like that. You know, see if it's cool, because I know like everything's COVID right now, you just want to be careful at the same time. But, you know, I always say like just go through your adversity, man, go through those trials and tribulations, because that'll definitely make you stronger, you know, down the line. And then if you can't do it, hey, you know, just keep it, you know, just keep it moving. That's it. You just can't dwell on the you know, dwell on the past. You keep dwelling on that shit ain't gonna get you nowhere, man. You know, it's always about like moving forward and learning from your mistakes. And me, hey, I'm a product of that, you know. I went through some adversity and I was able to get out of it, but it definitely made me a lot stronger, you know, mentally. I'm still working on it physically. So what's good about the job that I have right now is the physical labor. What's good because it's helping me with my gout. That's the thing about it. I don't give a fuck how much, you know, it might not be paying what I'm paying, but it's helping me with my gout, because that's why I always had problems with gout. And, you know, the physical work is helping me to improve my gout health, you know. You know, like, go see the doctor that you need to see. Like, now I got a doctor, like a specialist, to be able to monitor my gout, you know, make sure everything's good, you know, because, you know, I want to, you know, I think life is starting for me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, there's a lot of years ahead of me of what I can do and what I can be able to make an impact.
And you want to be healthy for that.
You gotta be healthy for that, you know. You can't be like Kaipo Waka every freaking day, you know what I'm saying? Put a little salad. Potato salad's not salad, right?
I know, right?
You know what I mean? And then so I think that's what I take. And then, you know, like you always have to value education. If you wanna talk to the Palangis and all that, you gotta bring something to the table. And value education. Do your schoolwork and everything. Volunteer. I remember when I had a podcast, like I was asked for little youngsters at City College, like, hey, you come volunteer, help me, you know, I need a social media intern, whatever. And they answer, how much am I gonna get? You know? But, you know, in a way it's like, dude, you know, come on. You know?
Okay. Now that's it, man. Appreciate it. Hey, appreciate the time. Thank you for taking that time. And then again, George Pahulu. You go by Celsius? That's George.
Nah. George Pahulu. Tongan Passion.
George Pahulu. Appreciate the time, taking the time to share your story, but that's it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Malo.